Hello, hello. Welcome in, friends. How we doing? Hi, hi. Good to see you all. Happy New Year. First stream of the new year today, Sunday, January 2nd. Welcome in. My name is PixelRiffs. Hope you're all having a good one. Oh, I haven't turned my camera on. There's something I should be doing.
Well, that's just prime.
It sure is. There we go. I'm back. Happy New Year. I'm on camera. Oh, I should probably turn my key light on as well. How is this first stream of the year not making some great impressions? There we go. What? How do you even stream? I do this professionally. Dom Gamer, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Blondie said what with the 23 months? Hello?
Baby's first Twitch stream. You were like, I don't know what's going on. I love you. Happy New Year.
Well, that's just prime.
All right.
What's going on?
Yeah. A surprise attack. Breeze, thank you for the 15 months. Blondie with the 23. Happy New Year. Here's to a great year of Survival Guide Season 2. Can almost taste the double nerd. Exactly. So, yeah, that was a thing. Historian, thank you so much for the 7 months. Happy New Year. Love the Empire's SMP series. Keep it going. We'll probably have an episode sooner or later. We'll see. All right, let's do this. Let's play some Minecraft. We are today gonna be spoiling a couple of things. First of all, for tomorrow's episode. So, if you're at all concerned about that, then this may not be the stream for you. But it's not anything huge. We're working on spawners today. I was working on spawners earlier. We have a zombie spawner and a spider spawner that we found in the previous episode. They are now both domesticated. They're now farms. And they're very simple setups for farms. Probably the simplest farms I've ever made, like, for a series like this. One of the things I want to do is decorate them a little bit. So we're going to do that here on stream because it's not necessary for the episode, but aesthetically it's a little bit nicer. And, yeah, we're probably going to do some caving after that, I think. Zombie or spider, both. Both of them. We did both of them in the same video. Because, like, the setup is basically the same, just with a couple of differences for spiders, and I wanted to cover all the potential designs for dungeon spawners. Obviously, there are blaze spawners, there are cave spider spawners, which you're going to be treating differently, but anytime you find a dungeon box, mossy cobblestone spawner in the middle, couple of chests, I wanted people to know how to set that up, because skeletons and zombies are basically the same, but spiders are a bit different. So, yeah, you'll see a little bit of that today. We're not going to be doing, like, too much heavy lifting when it comes to that stuff, and like I said, it's mainly going to be aesthetic changes, not like the setup for the farm. So hopefully that's all cool. I have been testing out designs for spawner farm setup things in like a test survival world, like a separate survival world, but now it's time to hop in and get right to it. I have my FOV set differently because I was taking screenshots as well. So this is the spider spawner setup. It's very simple. But I have a bunch of stuff in like a chest here, which I need to take back to the surface. We're probably going to keep the stone down here because I'll turn that into stone brick. And I kind of want to just repeat the weird, like... Let's leave the oak logs here as well. The farm design that I always do, like whenever I domesticate a spawner, I always put like spruce logs and a pumpkin in the middle and some other stuff around the outside. So I'm probably going to do that. I need a better way in and out as well. So right now it just comes up into the cave here, and we're going to head back to the surface. But I need the cobblestone just to pillar out of here to begin with. What's up, Eagle Shadow? Good to see you. I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. A little bit scattered, but otherwise good. Found your first 4 intact walls dungeon. Nice. Nice. A closed system. Am I still part of Empires? Yeah, I am. I'm in the Discord. I still am whitelisted on the server. I still plan on making a couple of videos before we completely wrap things up. But obviously, because I've been focusing on 118 content, the survival guide is in 117. There's... like, the Empires is in 117, the survival guide is in 118, sorry. It's kind of difficult to split my time between the two, and I wanted survival guide to get off to a good start, and all of Empires right now is just like massive projects, basically. I'm not really keeping up with story stuff, and there aren't any massive group events on the docket that I'm supposed to be a part of, so I'm taking it easy, mainly playing in 118, doing survival guide stuff. Did I do anything for New Year's? We just hung out, had a Zoom call with my family, played a bit of Gartic Phone, that was fun. Didn't really do a whole lot else. We had a nice dinner and just had a nice chill evening. We watched the fireworks from our bedroom window because our bedroom window looks out across like the neighborhood, and we have a few neighbors who like to set off fireworks and stuff. So we just took it easy. Have I gotten a carrot? Yes, I have a zombie farm now, so I do have carrots now, thankfully. Let's put some of this stuff away. I think I want to keep a bit of andesite on me as well, because polished andesite is a good block to use for this. But we mainly need spruce wood, so it's a good thing we farmed so much of it the other day. And stone types can all go in here. So we'll keep some of the andesite. We'll maybe bring that up to like a full stack so we can use polished andesite for that. Granite can go in there. Mossy cobble can go in there. This is very disorganized, and later on I'll probably break this out into a better storage system. I've also been getting a lot of regular deep slate because I've been using a silk touch pick for the most part. But we can throw the glowstone in there. The mob drops can go in here. And yeah, I guess I'll put the rest of it in the precious supplies up here. When are we making an iron farm? After we've covered villagers. I'm not going to like find a village and immediately turn them into an iron farm. We want to be able to like trade with the villagers a little bit first, and this week is going to be redstone. Like, I took a poll, if people didn't see this, on my YouTube channel and on Twitter. I took a poll about what we should do next week, because we've obviously covered a certain amount of stuff in the guide already, and I figured the next week was either going to be I go find a village and we cover all the stuff about villager trading, or I do a bunch of basic redstone farms, a spawner XP farm, like sugarcane. We talk a bit more about growing crops. Yeah, we do like a couple of redstone based farms around our spawn point, the kind of stuff that's just going to be here forever. And people on Twitter and on YouTube voted, and it seems like the farms won out. So we're going to cover farms this week, we're going to cover villagers next week. We're going to do like 5 episodes on each basically, and then after that we get into stuff like making an iron farm. Because honestly, you don't need an iron farm if you're playing in 118. If you have fortune on a pickaxe and you go mining at all, much less if you find like a huge vein of iron or anything like that, like you're getting way more iron than you really need practically at the stage of the game that we're at. Obviously there are many other things that we'll do later that will require an iron farm, because you want to make large storage systems, you need a lot of iron for hoppers, and it's good to have a renewable source of iron for when the resources around you dry up. But for the most part, I don't foresee us needing an iron farm for a while, and so I'm not going to prioritize that when there's definitely other stuff that we could be doing. What's a better way to get enchantments, enchantment table or librarians? Combination of both. One is not inherently better than the other. If you want very specific enchantments, you can get them through librarians, but if you enchant stuff in an enchanting table first, it costs you 3 levels, and you can get like 3 or 4 enchantments on something if you're lucky. So like if you want to enchant a pickaxe, you might get efficiency 4 unbreaking and silk touch, at which point you only need the librarians for mending. Like a mixture of both is always preferable. And that's the one thing about Minecraft that I find a little odd, is that sometimes, especially with the emphasis some people put on efficiency, people often want the one good way of doing something, and a variety of approaches is so often the better way. Like if you do all kinds of stuff, it's often better than just prioritizing one thing over the other. Like taking a more varied approach, I think, is just the way to enjoy Minecraft more in general, but also you get more out of it, I think. When am I going to the village? Next week. I don't know where a village is yet, so I will have to find one on camera, but that's going to be an interesting task in itself. We can discuss which biomes are more likely to have villages, how likely they are to spawn near pillager outposts, that kind of thing. But, yeah, like, starting not this Monday but next Monday, so from like Monday the, I guess, 10th, that's going to be when we do villagers. Alright, so here in the spider spawner, we have a Bane of Arthropods sword now, by the way. I also have a smite sword, which is great for the zombie spawner we'll also be decorating today. I've got a little bit of stone here that we're going to turn into stone bricks. And we'll turn all of this into spruce planks, and then I'll make the planks into mostly stairs. Let's get about a stack of those going. And then we're going to decorate the outside of this the way I normally do. We'll also be uncovering and probably breaking a little bit of redstone in the process, so might need to take care of that in a second. Let's put that back.
Well, that's just prime.
It sure is. I'll catch up on alerts in just a second. Let's see here. Get away. Thank you. There we go. Now that's lit up. Alright, let me go back through the event list here, because we've got a bunch of people being very generous. Turtle Jockey, thank you for the 17 months. Savian, thanks so much for that brand new Prime sub to the channel. Hurricane Mel with the Tier 1 sub as well. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Both of you, welcome to the Pixels. Savian with 500 bits as well, the double. You love to see it. Tadpole Milk, thank you for the 10 months. Cantheros with another brand new Prime sub. Matt Sims with the 10 months as well, thank you. Tadpole Milk with 1,000 bits. True Purple and Truck Pipe with 100 bits apiece. And Maribel Jade with the 29 months of Prime. Good morning to you. We're all caught up. Thank you for the hype train, folks. Hope you all had a wonderful start to the new year. Should build redstone on wall so I don't accidentally break it. I wasn't accidentally breaking it, I was breaking it on purpose, because we needed to move some of this stuff so that I could design this room a little better. This area here is probably just going to be cut off, so we don't need to worry about that. Is this the 4 connected spawners? No, this is a regular spider spawner that I found in the cave. If you want the background on this, then check out the episode from a day or two ago where we went caving and we found a spider spawner and a zombie spawner. This is the first one. The latter is further down in the cave. We'll get to it a bit later. In fact, actually, we're going to put the polished andesite there, and that's where the pumpkin goes in the design I have in mind. And then we do this. And then we finish that out with a set of stairs, and hopefully the case should be with this, that we don't need to worry too much about the lighter spots with stairs anymore. What are my thoughts on the copper block recipe changing to a 2x2 instead of a 3x3? It doesn't really make any sense to me, because copper should really fall in line with the rest of the metals in terms of the way you make resource blocks with it. And I feel like the main difference there is that copper is a decorative block, and so the 2x2 recipe is more commonly associated with decorative blocks like quartz, so it doesn't quite fit 100%, but I don't know. It's an odd one. But no, I don't think, oh wait, hang on. Doing this at the wrong height. Yeah, I don't think copper should inherently be a 2x2. It doesn't make all the sense in the world. Yeah, not ideal for this to be wide open like this. There we go. When did they add block selection when you click other blocks? It was pretty, like it was a while ago, I think. It was like, I want to say 1.11 maybe? It was recently in the grand scheme of things, but it was a while ago from like recent updates. At least I think it was. One torch is enough to disable spawners now. Sure is. It definitely is. Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that they carried over the change to spawners from the experimental snapshots where they were spawning in light level 11. They haven't. They haven't at all. Why stairs not full blocks? Aesthetics. I think it looks nice. There's no functional reason for these to be stairs. I just like to build them this way. I've built this spawner design basically every spawner I've converted since, like, decidedly vanilla, basically. How do you pick a block on Java? Like, how do you get the block you're looking at? If you middle click. It's kind of like when in creative mode you middle click with the mouse scroll wheel and you pull that block out of the creative inventory, except in survival it only works if you have one of that block in your inventory. Still find yourself putting down insane amounts of torches everywhere. I don't trust it. It's fine to trust it, but I think a lot of people put down those amounts of torches for visibility, because it's still dark in caves. You've got to sort of choose between the actual visibility of stuff for you, the player, or your audience if you're recording stuff for YouTube or streaming on Twitch or whatever, and the amount of light that you essentially need to block mob spawns. Like, there is a difference. So don't feel bad for still putting down a lot of torches. Like, it's about comfort more than anything. Torch spam is just muscle memory at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's also, I think, just more... It's more amenable in general to the idea that you can put down torches wherever you want, and you don't have to put down a ton of torches, but if you do, like, it's still gonna have the same function as if you put down the bare minimum. Alright, we got a lot of extra stone out of that, which I'm going to turn into more stone bricks. So we're probably going to do the floor and the wall here as well. In fact, to prevent a problem with the spiders climbing up the side of the spawner, I might actually drop the floor of this room down a block, but I'm not going to do that now. Because I honestly doubt I will end up using this spawner much once we do the mineshaft ones. Best part of the torch change is not having to hit F3 all the time. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons they've done it, really. Is so that players don't have to worry about consulting the debug information to make sure that an area is spawn-proof. Like, it makes a lot more sense. And that and the sort of esoteric aspect of, like... There was nothing to indicate, hey, light level 7... before. It was just like this magic number that you had to know by other people telling you, or you look it up, you know? Mobs spawning in half-light or whatever. Giant Scorpion, thanks so much for the 12 months! Everyone spam the word nerd in the chats. You're already doing it thanks to the chance, of course, but thank you so much for supporting the channel for as long as you have. Welcome to the Nerd Herds. Really appreciate all the support. Thank you very, very much. Okay, that's looking good. We've just got to fill out the sides here. Which I think is probably going to be okay just as stone brick. And then we'll put the pumpkins in there, which I need to go and get from the surface. A couple of blocks washing away down that cave, but I don't mind. What's been my favorite part of the update so far? I think just the landscape feeling so fresh and new. Including the caves, like the caves are phenomenal, but I just enjoy the fact that Minecraft's terrain isn't so predictable anymore. Like, you don't find yourself thinking, oh, like, I know what's coming up next. If I stumble upon a jungle, I can expect it to look a certain way. If I look at a savanna, it's always going to be the same landscape. Like, it's so interesting seeing variations in the terrain now. Okay, that's looking a lot prettier. I think we'll leave the ceiling just as pure stone, give or take this one block of diorite over here. Because that's fine, it's nice and plain, you know. Pretty straightforward. And, yeah, we'll put pumpkins in the walls, and then we'll be good here. And then I can show you a little bit about how this works if you want, but it's very straightforward. Eventually, we'll be able to mend all of our tools at one of these as well. Although it might end up being the cave spider spawner for a while, before we get some more advanced XP farms going. We're not going to use the jack-o'-lanterns, obviously, because they are light sources. Can I share the coordinates of the spawner? I can do that once we get back there. I've been trying not to do too much of that in the series itself, because for a start, it's only relevant to people who are playing on the same seed. But also, ow. Joke's on you, I have smite! I really want to encourage people to explore by themselves more and take advantage of these features as they stumble across them, rather than just copying block for block what I do, you know? I feel like part of learning is understanding that every survival world is going to be different, and that you end up with your own way of doing things after a while, instead of just copying everything that somebody on YouTube does. Just popped in before a school night. You back at school this early in January? Wow. Well, I hope you have a good time at school. Or if you're not the one going to school, then I hope the kids have a good time at school. Can put those away. Can put some of these away, because we won't be using them. We'll keep some of the andesite, though, because we'll end up doing more of those. And we need, in the organic, let's bring some more colored pumpkins. Put ladders so that I don't have to keep pillaring up and down and wasting pickaxe durability. I don't know if that entrance to the caves is going to be permanent yet. I don't want to put ladders there temporarily in the meantime. I also find ladders kind of slow, because I'm used to like soul sand bubble columns and stuff, but I haven't got around to the part in the series where we're talking about those yet. So, for now I don't really mind pillaring. Just introduced your son to my channel and he's trying to keep up with my videos. Well, I don't feel like he has to keep up because the videos are going to be there for as long as, you know, YouTube is a thing. So I might end up racing ahead. I have a lot more time to play Minecraft than some folks do. But hopefully they can get something out of it anyway. Will I upgrade to Netherite or defeat the dragon first? I don't know at this point. It really depends. What are my plans for this series? Will I do any mega bases or build major farms or anything like that? I'm planning on doing everything it is possible to do in survival Minecraft, in theory. That's the mission statement of the series, is to just do all the survival things. So, I want to try and build a base in every biome this season. That seems to be, like, the loose goal that I've set, so that we can explore a bunch of different building styles, the benefits of building in different locations, that kind of stuff. That includes cave biomes, in every major biome archetype, at least, because obviously, like, sparse jungle versus regular jungle, they're probably going to be next to each other anyway, so I'm probably going to be building a base in just, like, a jungle area. And yeah, with everything else, it totally depends on like what comes up over the course of the series, where some really interesting locations end up being, that kind of thing. Cool. So that is what I like my spawners to look like. From the outside, it looks a little bit more interesting sometimes, but I think in this case, because we aren't, like, building a massive thing around this, and we're probably going to eventually just forget this location entirely. I'm probably just going to block the rest of this in. But the cool thing with this spawner is that you can see the inside of it while it's in operation. Oh yeah, I need a few more loose blocks for this one. And we don't have any left. Okay, great. Let's just fill out the rest of this with andesite then. Because we'll probably dig out enough andesite for the rest of it anyway. Cool. So this farm is really simple. If we switch this off, the spiders just bob towards us. We've got a Bane of Arthropods sword in here that we can use. And they just end up climbing up here. The chains make sure that even if you don't have a Bane of Arthropods sword, the spiders stay in place. They die really easily. So I'm showing the setup for this farm in tomorrow's video along with the zombie spawner. It's very simple. My voice sounds a bit different in YouTube videos. Yeah, Impulse SV talked about this recently. When you're streaming, you tend to adopt a more natural vocal energy. Unless you are somebody who streams, like, more consistently. You have, like, a stream kind of character or whatever that you do. But in videos, you tend to be a bit more, like, presentational because the YouTube video has to have a lot more energy to keep people's attention. Whereas on streams, you've got things like a webcam over here and you're interacting with people in the chat, so you can take a more casual approach to conversations on Twitch. Whereas on YouTube, like, I'm presenting information in the form of a tutorial, so my commentary has to be a bit more upbeat and, you know, focused on the task at hand. And I also have to make sure that I'm feeling, like, at all coherent that day when I do a tutorial, whereas with a stream, I'm, like, anything but. Plus, if you know, a tutorial has those kind of downbeat moments, I can always edit them later, you know. I apply a bit more vocal processing to my voice when I do videos as well, so there's a bit more, like, compression and stuff, none of which I apply on streams because I don't really like doing that live. I don't know. I think on this side we're probably fine for, like, blocking this stuff in, but there's a gap or two over here that I might just plug because we don't need that to be there. As long as we don't block off the redstone with, you know, solid blocks or anything, we'll be fine. But yeah, good farm. Got a bunch of string, got a bunch of spider eyes. Gonna keep the sword in there because I won't use Bane of Arthropods the rest of the time. Let's go take the smite sword down to the zombie spawner. And this spawner is going to be probably the one I use the least because it's so far away. I might need a better way to get down to it eventually, which again is why I'm holding off until we do bubble columns and stuff like that, because really this is so far down. But after this we'll do a bit of caving, so we'll be exploring this area a bit more. Will I build and decorate a room around the spawner? Probably not for this one, because it's in a sort of... It's in a cave that I don't think I will do any more development with. Unless we get serious about, like, transforming the underground around this area with, like, some sort of thematic thing. But for now, it's meant to be very functional, and it's not really an area that I plan on visiting all that much, because the cave spider spawners that I've found in that abandoned mineshaft are a lot more viable for a long-term XP farm, because there's potentially 2 or 3 of them that are in the same place. So, will I bring back the RTX series for 118? Not right now, and potentially only if I get more sponsorship out of it, but I have nothing in mind for that right now. Because honestly, the whole point of the RTX series is to show off RTX as a concept, and people get it now. And thankfully, RTX cards are becoming a bit more available. I know there's still supply issues with a lot of them because, you know, scalpers and bots and what have you. But yeah, I think in some cases, people are actually able to get hold of the cards now. So I'm finding that there is a little bit more of it just being used casually out there, and people are more aware of it, and so there is less need to promote that stuff. So this is the zombie spawner, and this one is naturally enclosed because you don't want any light getting in, and the zombie aggro is not part of the mechanics of moving the mobs around. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Whereas spiders are tricky. If you don't aggro them, if they don't, like, come up to you, then they tend to climb all over the walls and it gets everywhere. So we'll make... I guess we probably need less than 64 this time because it's not as big a room. But we'll do a little bit of work around this. I guess the pumpkin is going to be there, so... Should there be different color bookshelves according to wood type? I don't really mind whether there is or not in the end. Like, I think it's fine as long as stuff is consistent for me. We'll put spruce planks there, and I think we'll leave that for now. 48 stairs around? Yeah, I figured it was less than 60, but... I might end up needing to either smelt or go and gather some more smooth stone for this, because we need to fill this in. Oh wait, no, the pumpkin goes there, doesn't it? There we go. And honestly, for this one, because we're not going to see the inside of it, we could just do the stuff that's visible. Like, do something like this. Because nobody's going to know the difference on the inside. Like, I've left all the cobblestone there from the original dungeon. If we just do this. Yeah, nobody's gonna know, are they? You'll know. But I trust you lot to keep a secret. In fact, let's cut these two out. Oh wait, no, do we have a couple of stone bricks in here now? We've got a couple of deep slate blocks, but... Okie doke. Does vertical space matter for spawner rates? Only one block of headroom. For, we've got an andesite block in there. Looks awful. Never mind. For zombies, you need to have one block of headroom because they're spawning in a 2x1 space. Got a potato out of that one. I have looting on this sword, which makes a difference. There we go. I don't have a sweeping edge on it yet, though, or unbreaking, so we might end up adjusting that in future. I'll probably leave a deep slate block here. So I can take the crafting table with me. Another carrot, of course. We have so many carrots now, it's exciting. We can actually grow vegetables. Alright, I think we're... the only problem with this, because I don't have tinted glass yet, I haven't discussed tinted glass. We don't have a geode that I farm regularly for amethyst or anything. The problem with this is I don't have a way of seeing into the spawner to making sure that it's dark in there. And I used to do this thing because stairs didn't used to like let light through. They only changed that, I think, in 1.15, 1.16, whenever the lighting engine changes happened. I used to put 2 angled stairs on the corners here so that you could see through to the spawner working, but I don't do that anymore. I am finding that whenever I replace natural deep slate, because I've been mining so much of it with Silk Touch, I get really annoyed when it faces in the wrong direction. But yeah, like, since we don't have tinted glass in here, I'm not going to worry about decorating the rest of that. So we've cut some corners, but that's fine. So now that's down there, we know that's the spawner. Not going to dig into that by accident or anything. Not that I would anyway, because where even are we? Do I have plans for enchanting the chest plate? Yeah, eventually. Aerodymia, thank you so much for the 6 months. Survival Guide is really one of the best contents on YouTube. I'm glad to hear it. We'll keep this sword on us for now. I'll probably put looting on the Bane of Arthropods sword as well, but we'll use that for the other spider spawner, so we'll come back for it. For the cave spiders. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for gifting that sub earlier as well. Appreciate that very much. Hang on a second. I'm approaching the staircase from the wrong side. There we go. Make a copper farm using a zombie spawner. Again, it's kind of the same as the iron farm thing right now. With the amount of copper that's in the game at this point, I can't imagine needing a copper farm for a long time. Like, even one of the super efficient drowned copper farm, like zombie spawner, automatic drowning reinforcements, whatever it is, farm. Like, I've not needed to build one of those in Empires, where I'm trading in copper. So I really don't foresee needing to build one of those in Survival Guide for a while, especially now copper is way more OP. Like, you can get 4 cut copper blocks out of a single copper like a regular copper block. Copper farm is good for early XP. I mean, just doing a thing with zombie reinforcements, maybe, sure, but there are lots of other ways to get XP. Did Empires change to 118? Nope. Still on 117 as far as I know. Do you think some sort of creeper spawner is missing from the game or just too dangerous? There's no need for a creeper spawner, really. Like, for a start, 9 times out of 10, if you encounter a creeper spawner, you'd just end up with one of the creepers in there blowing it up before you could light the thing up. So, unless you were super careful, there's really no point. But also, yeah, too OP. In terms of, not in terms of, like, it being OP for the player. I feel like it's just more difficult to deal with for griefing and stuff, basically. Blue Bob Arm, always want to ask, seeing your name is Pixelrest, have you ever heard of the Resource Pack Retro NES Revived? I've not. Mrs. Shashley, thank you for the 6 months. What percent do I set Hostile Creature Volume to? It's currently on 50. Need to be able to hear them. What about the anthill? What about it? Still exists. Still half finished. We'll get it finished eventually, but it's not my priority. Looking forward to the raid farm eventually. Big fan of how you combined it with the Bad Omen farm all in one unit in Season 1. Yeah, I might do something similar this time. We'll see. Got to find the right location for a pillager outpost, though, because drowning that whole area was laborious. Man, having smite is just something else. Especially when it comes to these guys. It's 35 levels. Play with mobs at 10%, they're quite loud. I think when it comes to streaming with my speakers on, I tend to have the overall speaker volume quite low, so sorry if the mob sounds are loud for you guys, but yeah, I tend to prefer to have stuff like that up a little higher so that I can hear it at a distance, especially. What's the difference between smite and sharpness? Smite only works on undead mobs, but it does more damage per level to undead mobs specifically. Sharpness is still a damage increase, but not as hefty a damage increase as it would be on something like Smite or Bane of Arthropods. Let's put the junk in here for the moment. We'll put the potato and the carrot in here, and we're going to do an episode about crops relatively soon. Got a decent amount of bones. I really wish we had a skeleton spawner. But unless we find one of those when we go caving later, that is regrettably not a thing in this world yet. Smite works on the wither? Sure does. What are the undead mobs? Zombies, skeletons, the drowned, husks, strays, the wither skeletons, zombie pigmen, zoglins, phantoms. I think that's it. If I'm missing any, then let me know, folks. Bane of Arthropods also works on silverfish and bees, not that you'd want to use it on bees. I mean, if the bees end up attacking you, then sure, but... Although, to be fair, right, like, with pack aggression, when it comes to wolves, zombie pigmen, and I don't know if bees are a thing with this, but maybe they are, it actually helps if you one-shot the thing that you're attacking. I don't know if that's the case with bees, but, like, other stuff doesn't get aggressive to you if you kill it in one hit. No D&D today? No. We would have had a session on the 26th, but because it was Boxing Day and people were still on holiday, we didn't. And so we're skipping the last session of December, and our first session of January would have been next Sunday. Like, I'm pretty sure. Have I encountered phantoms yet? No. I've not, because I sleep too much. And any time when I wouldn't have, like, any time I would have been awake for long enough without sleeping, I was probably in the nether, so phantoms weren't spawning, and then after that, I'd have returned to the overworld and probably slept the first night I had the chance. And phantoms don't bother you when you're underground. So, yeah, for the most part, we've avoided phantoms. And will continue to do so until I'm ready to talk about them. 8-Bit still has D&D on their schedule for today. Well, somebody should tell them that, because it isn't. We confirmed in the behind-the-scenes Discord that the next session wasn't until the 9th, so... Well, unless they're doing, like, a... I know the other group does. I know they're doing Starfinder now, aren't they? So they wouldn't be on as D&D anyway. And I think that was Saturdays, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. Just one log there is going to annoy me. Let's break that down into sticks or something. Let's put the rest of the planks away. There we go, we've got 4. Brilliant. Throw the ladders in there as well. Slept in today by a lot. No worries, Nixcraft. It's what the new year is for. Yeah, we do have a lot of overstock for wood, which is all thanks to the streams I do every Tuesday where we chop wood. We do Chopping Tuesday here. It's kind of a channel tradition. Right, we have General Diamond Sword that I'm going to use until it's close to breaking. Because the alternative is using one that has Smite, which isn't going to be as good at fighting everything else. I also have a Sweeping Edge Sword in here that I might just disenchant. Because right now I'm just getting Sweeping Edge again on this, so we'll see. Epic Gamer Brave, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Welcome in. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. We used to listen to Chopin on Chopping Tuesdays, but I used to get DMCA warnings from using classical music, because even if it's a royalty-free recording, it just sounds like somebody else's recording of classical music, so I tend to not play that as much. Chopping Tuesday only sounds good in a British accent, I know. Which is part of the reason I do it. Is it possible to make a phantom membrane farm? It's possible to farm virtually everything in Minecraft. The real question is, how practical is it to make a phantom membrane farm? And to be honest, in my experience, not very, because I don't use slow-falling potions a lot, and you can use it to repair elytra, but your elytra typically just gets mending. So, yeah, like, it's really not all that worth making a phantom membrane farm, but the fact is you can, if you want to. Will I not focus on empires now? No, not at all. Like, I've maintained that from the beginning. As soon as 1.18 came out, I was going to be focusing on the survival guide. I said this at the end of my last Empires episode, and I will probably make a couple more Empires videos at some stage, but they're probably just going to be wrapping up my existing projects and calling it a day for that series. Boy, sure would have been good to have a sword with smite that I could use to fight those skeletons. Let's not bother keeping bows, actually. Not worth it. And I'll grab some wood from the mine shaft over here. Yeah, the only reason to make a phantom membrane farm is if you want to just have a farm for everything. So eventually I'll do it because, again, the goal is to try and do everything that's possible to do in Minecraft, but the practicality of it has to be observed. Or the impracticality in some cases. think I'll probably leave the rails here and just put them down there so we don't lose them completely, but I mainly just want the wood to make sure that we can still make torches. Do iron golems attack skeletons? Yes, they do. Sometimes unsuccessfully, because skeletons are quite good at keeping them away. But iron golems are immune to knockback to a certain level, so they don't always have the upper hand for very long. So the caving we're going to be doing today is much more about exploration than it is about resource gathering, so please don't insist that I mine every material I find, because I'm not going to. There will probably be a couple of things that we get, like if we spot some diamonds, we'll probably mine those, you know. Overall, though, we're much more interested in exploring the area, seeing if we can find more spawners, a little bit more diamond. And the diamond is really because we don't have mending yet, so I do occasionally need to either repair my tools or craft new ones. I do still have some diamonds in my ender chest left over from the last little run of caving, so we're not that poor. Do I think amethyst should have had more use? I think it's kind of weird to talk about this stuff in the past tense already, because we still have some diamond ore in there. Gosh, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with talking about it in the past tense, because like new features get added to old additions to Minecraft all the time. Like they're always adding new stuff that you can do with buckets, for example. Like, you know, we've been able to scoop up fish in axolotls and soon tadpoles. Like, they added campfires to the game and then gave campfires functionality for helping you farm bees. Like, amethyst will probably get more uses in future. The fact that it doesn't have them right now is not a sign of it being an incomplete feature. So, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the idea that we need more, like, the amethyst is somehow a missed opportunity, you know? Like, we'll have more opportunity to mess with amethyst in future. The same goes for copper. Like, everyone who's writing off copper, yes, it's only a decorative block right now, but they clearly have other plans for it. Eventually we'll get the copper golem if they plan on adding that, like, after the allay and everything gets added. Any news from the Hermitcraft server? I don't have any kind of behind-the-scenes information about Hermitcraft. I'm not part of the Hermitcraft crew, so that's not my place to say. Collect your bones later. I think we're good from around here. Purposes of amethyst may become clear as the community plays, or uses that they may not have thought of, like the emergent gameplay. I mean, kind of, yeah. There's a lot of people have had a lot of time to work with amethyst already. It doesn't have a great deal of stuff that it does in terms of basic mechanics, which is the kind of stuff that emergent gameplay takes advantage of, like the random crystal growth. If anything, to use that as like a redstone randomizer or something, maybe there's like a couple of options there, but then there's no reason you shouldn't use something like cactus, which people have already been using for a long period of time. So it really depends on what you want to try and use it for, rather than what it's inherently good at. But then we've got tinted glass from amethyst, which is really good. We've got the spyglass, which I think is a decent feature. Kind of a moot point if you use Optifine, but I'm trying not to use Optifine right now, mostly so I can justify the existence of stuff like the spyglass. Should be able to upgrade pistons with amethyst and increase their push limits. I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know if that makes logical sense. Like, there's there's obviously an extent to which, yes, it's Minecraft, it's a fantasy game. Like, using materials like that to upgrade stuff could just be, like, because it's Minecraft. But I think to a certain extent, some of the ideas about upgrading things like that should really feel more intuitive than just, I put a crystal in it and it worked better, you know? Like, if you combined it with copper, then that might be something slightly different, because copper is something that we use for electrical wiring in the real world, and so maybe adding copper to a piston recipe allows the wiring in the piston to be more intricate or something, and maybe that gives it more functionality. But yeah, I don't know if amethyst is really the right thing for the job there. Or if amethyst could be ground into a powder and be used for potions, what would it do? What do you think amethyst would do if ground into a powder? Other than taste real funny. We all become Abigail from Stardew Valley. Potion of glowing faintly purple. I mean, yeah, imagine adding dye to spectral arrows to change the color of the glowing effect. I think that'd be fun. Although it would kind of mess with team stuff on servers, wouldn't it? Increase hearing range or echolocation for the deep dark. I feel like the player's hearing is less of a concern, though, right? Like, I like the idea because amethyst is a block that produces sound when you walk on it, so it kind of makes sense for it to be a sound-related thing, but... a lot of creepers around here.
Well, that's just prime.
Wobbly Prime, thank you for the 11 months of incredibly stable Prime. Amethyst could be used for the music thing we talked about on the spawn chunks. It was like an advanced note block GUI, basically. Amethyst used to craft spectral arrows? No, glowstone is used for that. There's already a recipe. Why am I leaving all the ores? The purposes of this caving trip is not to gather resources. It's more about exploring. I'm trying to find things like... I mean, diamonds are alright, I guess. But I'm trying to find more things like huge iron veins. And, you know, more monster spawners, that kind of thing. Ideally, I want to find a skeleton spawner if we can, but... I'm not too worried about it. Just lighting this area up is also quite valuable to me, because there might be some more stuff that we'll end up doing here later. It will help to have a better lit up cave so that we don't encounter too many mobs as we mosey around here. Hello! Another spider spawner. Hey, not bad. Got another name tag. More buckets as well, and a cat music disc. Kind of glad it wasn't other side, to be honest. I don't want to encounter other side this quickly. But yeah, I don't think that spider spawner is close enough to the other one for it to count as a double anything. Because the other one is significantly above where we're at right now. Ooh, nice open geode, though. Big geode, too. Wow, look at this. Big geode. Might take the coordinates of this one, actually. If I can actually turn the GUI on. Hello. And yeah, we've clearly been in this area for a while developing the spawners because the crystals here are all grown. Well, let's fortune some of these, actually, because we were talking about needing more amethyst earlier for tinted glass. So we might as well just gather a bunch of amethyst shards while we're here. We could even silk touch some of the amethyst clusters, but I might save that for a video where we talk about more of the applications of silk touch, because obviously I talked about getting the ores and everything, but you can also silk touch things like nylium if we want to start farming nether trees. And grass if we want to move grass around in the overworld. There's various other applications of it that I did not touch on because silk touch was not the entire point of that video. It's a more miscellaneous video than that. The only thing amethyst is good for in bulk right now is tinted glass. Yeah, but obviously you need a lot of tinted glass, so it makes sense. That's a good few stacks. It's already grown back. Okay, so one more spider spawner. A little bit more amethyst, some more diamonds right here. Don't see there being much else around this. No, the exposed diamond veins are only ever like 2 or 3 at most, from what I've found. Still worth it though. We've got 11 diamonds now, plus the few that I tucked away in that ender chest earlier. Can we make nice music with amethyst blocks and note blocks? Unfortunately, amethyst blocks are more random in the notes that they produce, so we can't really do a great deal with that. Unless you want a completely randomized like harp sound in the background, which you could do, I guess. Make wind chimes with the amethyst to distract the warden. I think there are a bunch of other things already in the game that could be used to distract the warden though, and I think distracting the warden more permanently is a little bit too overpowered for what they want to do with the experience. But the warden is distracted by any sounds, so the wind chime would not be unique in that sense. It'd be a nice decoration, but I think there would be more stuff it needed to do. And there would also need to be wind in Minecraft, which is a weird concept. Banners already blow in the wind, but they don't blow in a particular direction. Is it better to go strip mining to find diamonds or just regular exploring? It depends entirely on what you consider to be better. Hello? Because yes, like, you will find more diamonds strip mining at -58, just block for block, because, like, you're finding the diamond generation that is not exposed to the open air, but, like, you're also having to strip mine or branch mine through deep slate, which is a long process. Clouds blow in the wind too, though that's decorative. Yeah, there's a limit to which we can really interpret that as being wind and not just like that's what clouds do, because there's no effect on anything else. Enderman completely unfazed by that. Bit of gravel at the end there, but I won't disturb it. You find 1x1 mining strategy is good and faster at -56 for diamonds. I think that also depends on, like, anecdotal evidence to a certain extent as well, because it's always going to feel like you got lucky finding diamonds a certain way if you found them. Do I prefer Silk Touch or Fortune 3 when mining? Depends which pickaxe has efficiency. Right now I'm fortuning redstone and diamonds when I find them because they're both very valuable long term, but my Silk Touch pickaxe has efficiency on it, so I'm favoring that when I'm mining other stuff just because it's nicer. But I think overall fortune, because you don't have to worry about breaking the cobbled deep slate again when you're done. Oh, I've been this way. No, I've not. Man, this cave system though. Yeah, like Silk Touch leaves you with a lot of regular deep slate that you can't craft into any of the other deep slate blocks, which is kind of a pain. And frankly, I think fortune is better for longer caving trips because of being able to condense stuff into resource blocks. Especially if you're going for copper, iron, that kind of stuff. The kind of things where you're going to find multiple different types of ore blocks containing that particular material. Deep slate kind of ruins Silk Touch. I mean, yes and no. I still like Silk Touch for all the other reasons. But it seems more of a specialist enchantment than the kind of thing that you want on you 100% of the time. Like, I prefer Silk Touch for mining in stone layers because I use stone and its variants more than I end up using cobblestone. But maybe that will change, who knows? My computer in Windows 10 or 11? I'm still using 10. I haven't heard anything inherently good about Windows 11. Like, most of what I've heard is people being like, yeah, maybe avoid this for the moment. And it's not necessarily something that I really care about being on the cutting edge of, so I expect that, again, it's going to be anecdotal, isn't it? It's going to be what everyone's individual experience is. But in my case, I don't really mind that much. I just want to make sure all of the software I use is compatible, and most things will have pushed a compatibility update when Windows 11 became more widely available, but in the meantime, doesn't matter as much to me. You avoided Windows 11 by going back to Linux? Fair play. .11 is okay, the GUI search is better though? I don't know what that means. Like the search from the Windows like start menu, because I don't really use that. Ski Pro with the tier 1 sub, Satisia? Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub as well. Brand new subs, both of you. Welcome to the Pixels. Enjoy your emotes. Enjoy your sub badges. Prefer the settings interface from Windows 11. It's cleaner and more unified, not as boxy. Fair enough. Alright, at this point we need to condense the redstone down. I do the same with the amethyst, but unfortunately we can't get the shards back out of those. So I'll probably just dump the rest of those in there for now. We've got a stack for gunpowder in there as well. And bones. Now I guess I'll put the name tag in there since it's precious, and that leaves us with 1 space left in the ender chest. But a lot more space left in our inventory. What's this about Windows 11 not having game support? It's more just about making sure that the developers are making their game compatible with Windows 11, which most of the time, you know, Windows has this thing where you can run stuff in compatibility mode for an older version anyway. So you can just tell it like, hey, behave like it's Windows 10 so that this game actually launches, and you'd be fine. But you just need to know that that exists, right? For me, it's much more about compatibility with the software I use, like you know, Adobe programs to make sure I can edit videos and make thumbnails and everything. It's awful not being able to subscribe. Hey, don't worry about it. The fact is, you're here watching the content. That's support enough. Subscribing and all that stuff is nice, but hey, it's not a problem. If you're following here on Twitch, then you're getting notifications about when I go live, and you'll be able to check out the stream whenever it happens. That's the important stuff, really. I think most streamers will agree. Like, I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to be entertaining. There are definitely some streamers who play up the money angle, but I think they're just happy to have people watching them as well. Gonna shovel snow for the second time today. I kind of wish that we had some snow here, just because I like snow, but I understand it's a royal pain for anybody who has to actually go out in it. I'm lucky in that I have an indoor job, so... Dogman Jack, thank you for gifting that sub. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Snow is nice and fluffy today, so it's not bad. Yeah, the stuff that's just like melted down and frozen back over is the worst. But yeah, we've had a fairly mild winter so far. We don't usually get snow until like February kind of time anyway. It's when it really reaches peak cold. Half the time we get snow in like April, but then we also get our heat waves in April too, so depends what the year feels like doing, I guess. But I live in the south, so we're usually not the part of the UK that gets a great deal of snow anyway. We've had it a couple of times since I've lived in this house, so over the last, like, few years. Trying to think of the ways we went in the previous stream and the ways that we needed to continue going, because there are offshoots of this cave all over the place. T. Yulan, thank you so much for that 5 gifted subs. An X-Ray Oven with a brand new Prime sub as well. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Thinking on the idea of amethyst being used for potions in the deep dark could make your steps quieter to be safer around the warden, though it is a bit backwards from the amethyst itself. Yeah, it'd be kind of like strapping on big clumpy boots and then walking a bit quieter, you know? I'm curious. There might be more uses for amethyst, but I think it's also interesting to think outside the existing systems that we have in Minecraft. Like, it always occurs to us to augment existing things, like have some effect on enchanting, or have it be like, you know, a potion brewing ingredient or something like that. But I feel like we're reaching a point now where Minecraft is inventing new mechanics to give some of these things a little bit more viability. And I don't know if it ends up with a system as intense as stuff like brewing and enchanting, but makes for some interesting conversation, at least. Amethyst could do something with the allay. It does enjoy music, so yeah, I feel like maybe Amethyst and the allay have some compatibility there. Some deep slate copper in there as well. Again, I'm not gathering copper right now because I just have so much of it. The buff to copper, along with the fact that I don't really need to do a whole lot with it right now, has left me with a ton of copper in reserve, so... Same with iron, like I'm not really that interested in gathering iron at the moment, but we will undoubtedly come back here if we need more iron in future, and I'm always interested in finding a huge vein of iron just so we can mine it out for purposes of comparing it to an iron farm. It's one of the things I'd like to do. I want to see how much iron we can get from a huge iron vein in the time that it takes the iron farm to produce however much, and I think we found one. That's looking very promising. Yeah, that's definitely a huge iron vein. Need to find out which way it goes. This isn't it over here. Because there's so much tuff in the underground, it's often a challenge to figure out what's part of it and what isn't. But over here, like very specifically, like when you see 1 or 2 blocks of iron like that mixed in with the tuff in that kind of concentration, that's definitely a huge vein. See, tuff is interesting to me because I don't know how much this comes across on stream. It's probably a little darker for you folks, so apologies for that. But in the darkness, the game renders tuff like with a little bit more kind of green to it. Where is this? Oh, you're down there. I was looking above me. And so I always mistake tuff for mossy cobblestone when it's at more of a distance. Yeah, that's part of the vein right here. So it kind of curves around there, maybe. Okay, great. So that's a future episode. I'm going to bookmark the coordinates of this and come back to it. We won't be dealing with it right now, but we'll see which way that goes. Yeah, I want to compare the output of a huge vein of iron ore to the output of an iron farm and see, like, short-term versus long-term really is the comparison I want to make. Like, what can we get out of each solution to the problem of needing iron constantly? Like the way you mined all the non-copper blocks to show the density on that episode? Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like doing. Hello? Bye. Interesting. It doesn't look like there's as much of it down there, so I wonder if this continues just like into the cave system that way. He did it to himself. And we're at -26 here, so the huge iron veins only occur below Y0. They're at deep slate level and below. But it looks like that one doesn't really reach out to much of the exposed cave around it. Maybe it goes through that way, and we might find some on the other side if we explore up this way. But the quad iron farm in your world, now you have too much and it always overflows? Yeah, that's really what I want to test. I think the conclusion that we'll come to is that iron farms are still a good thing because, like, it's good to have renewable anything in a world where the resources that you can mine out of the ground don't renew. Like, they have a tendency to deplete entirely, and then you need to go further and further to get stuff each time. But I think the huge iron veins are going to be a much better short-term source of iron. Hi. This cave system is something else, man. What is the next episode of Survival Guide? Tomorrow's episode is going to be all about setting up a spider farm and a zombie farm out of the 2 spawners that we found in last week's episodes. So a very simple spawner farm setup. This whole week is going to be concerned with early game farms and redstone projects, basically. Look at the iron here as well. There's just a bunch just in this cave. This is probably around Y, yeah, it's Y10 to 16, so pretty high concentration here anyway. Oh, free carrot, finally. Finally we're getting carrots out of these zombies now, and all it took was me getting a Smite 4 looting sword. Almost got blown up by the creeper. I took 0 damage from that creeper, so yes, I almost got blown up. Wow, dude, this is like Iron Central. Oh, and another geode, another big geode. Look at this. Suspended in the floor, maybe? Wow, that's something. So cool just stumbling upon one like this. We run out of torches so fast. There we go. Smite is for zombies and such, or undead mobs? I mean, zombies are undead mobs, so yeah. Yeah, smite is for the zombies, the skeletons, zombie pigmen, the wither, all of that stuff. We need renewable torches, we do. Yeah, interesting. So the cave doesn't really loop around to that side. Oh, more diamonds right there. Did the creeper uncover these? I think it might have. GG. Oh, getting more. 5 diamonds out of 3 ore. Probably that's it for this vein. Yeah. Cool. Don't think that's even part of it, is it? Actually, maybe a little bit. Maybe it got cut off slightly from this. But, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hello? Oh, that's glow squid. Haha. Landed on a redstone block as well, so it actually lit the area up. Imagine. Imagine glow squid actually lighting up an area. Should set up a mining base or a quarry at the large ore veins. Yeah, I will probably end up doing stuff like that in future. I like the idea of having some more aesthetic stuff. Like last time when we turned a fossil into like an archaeological dig. I want to do more stuff like that. More stuff that ties in the naturally generated features of Minecraft with thematic builds and stuff, but we're not quite at the stage in this series yet where we can do that, because mass resource gathering really needs to take place first, or I need to put in a lot of time behind the scenes to make stuff like that really work. But yeah, we found that. That's cool. I'm very happy we found a large ore vein. It's the kind of thing where I don't want to just end up doing caving on YouTube videos until I find one, you know? So it's okay that we found it on stream. And once again, this will go up on my VODs channel, Pixel VODs on YouTube. So if you want to catch up on any of this, I still haven't uploaded the fishing and caving stream we did last time because we had a weird crash halfway through and it got split into 2 VODs. So I've had to edit those 2 together, and that'll be up later today, probably. Did I get the coordinates for that vein? I did, yeah. That is at 117, -60. I did promise people the coordinates for the spider spawner as well, so let me go and get those real quick. I think we go up here. Alright, chat, be honest. How many times have you been faked out by glow lichen when you've been looking for diamonds? And just assumed that one glow lichen against a patch of deep slate in the darkness was a diamond ore. I feel like I've gotten used to it now, but it was definitely the case in the beginning. Because I wasn't used to the look of deep slate diamond yet. Like, I think it happened more in 117. Obviously, by now I'm more used to it, but that's also my signal to leave because my shield just broke. Never, because I haven't played in ages. Well, Fry, that doesn't count, does it? Alright, spider spawner coordinates. This dungeon is at roughly 397.70. Or 470 if you want to be, you know, in nice round numbers. Can you enchant a shield? Only with enchanted books. You can't put it in an enchantment table and get anything out of that. Didn't know I had a VODs channel. Yeah, I don't use it all that much. In fact, I haven't used it for a while for standard Minecraft streams. Because standard Minecraft streams for me have mostly been just like resource gathering and stuff that I don't find all that interesting. But in the case of the Minecraft Survival Guide, I want to start uploading them more regularly because these are going to be my behind-the-scenes videos, effectively. And so I want there to be a sort of YouTube document of them so that people can still see the end product. Like if people are curious where I ended up getting diamonds from off camera, then it's happened on a stream mostly. And by the time we get to trading with villagers, we'll be talking about why diamonds don't really matter all that much, because we'll be able to buy diamond gear from blacksmiths and things. But I think it will be important for people to at least have a record of, this is when we chopped all that wood, this is when we found the huge iron vein, we did all the fishing in between the last episode and this episode, you know, that kind of thing. Now there's cornflowers, you feel compelled to hoard your lapis. I haven't found a good building use for the blocks yet. The blocks go really well with sandstone, I'll tell you that much. Although I used to use a resource pack called... oh gosh, what was it even called now? Was it Lively Defaults? It's kind of similar to the pack that Python uses. But it made lapis blocks both a connected texture and a lot more vibrant. So I kind of preferred building with them in that, but it wasn't like... it was vanilla looking, but it wasn't vanilla, you know? I tend to go with default textures these days, because that way I'm not giving anybody a false impression about what a block looks like. But these do look genuinely like a kind of matte gemstone kind of vibe to them. Like, I quite like the texture of lapis blocks. I just don't have much of a use for them. Been using lapis to mark your portals in a multiplayer server. That's nice. Seems like a good use for them. Let's empty out the contents of the ender chest into here. Actually, I might not. I might leave the contents of the ender chest in here so I can discuss them in an episode and explain that this is what we've been doing. Give or take condensing some of these down into redstone blocks. There we go. So yeah, the fully repaired bow in there I think was just like either a skeleton drop or something that I decided to bring with me to fix a bow. Did Auto Farms win the votes? They seem to have, yes. The Twitter poll was a little bit more split than the YouTube. I mean, the YouTube one was split 50-50, but the Twitter poll kind of came out in favor of doing Auto Farms. So we've started with the spawners. We're probably going to do a sugarcane farm or a bamboo farm or both around here somewhere, like on the surface. Somewhere visible, somewhere we can dress it up with a build, you know. The roof of this is almost fully exposed now. Yeah, so we'll do some farms around here to replace the sugarcane patch on the right-hand side of my house. We'll do the multi-spider spawner, cave spider, abandoned mineshaft farm at some stage later this week. There are a couple of other things that I said I was going to do. Probably automatic bone meal as well, because even though getting bone meal from a skeleton spawner is how I tend to do it in early game, I haven't found a skeleton spawner yet, so we might start looking at bees as well. And I say that mainly because they're a good farm to automate in the early days. We have Silk Touch now, so we can mess with bees. And also, I want to start waxing the sections of the roof, notably this part, which I don't want to change color. That part I want to stay like fully copperized, and so we can strip it with an axe and then wax it permanently. Did I go mine gold in the Nether or the overworlds? For what? For the amount of gold I have in here? I mean, most of it has been raw gold, or I picked up a couple of bits here and there, but I don't tend to go mining gold in the Nether because I don't like annoying piglins. They're just on you constantly. It kind of sucks. So I tend to avoid that. Axe it and wax it. Yeah, that's entirely the goal. Entirely the goal. So I need to craft myself another shield while we're back here. And I'm going to pick up some more wood as well, because we need a utility wood for going caving with if we're going to do some more of that. Alright, new shields, new me. I'll get rid of the oak planks. And I think we'll probably need to go mining for coal a little bit as well, because we're running low on that. I have one flint in here that I'm apparently just keeping in my inventory for no apparent reason. Have I given Empires the back seat for now? It seems that way, doesn't it? Yes, I have. I put flint in mob drops? Do I even have a place for flint in this mess? Flint is not organic. Let's put it in mob drops even though it's not one. How did I get my profile picture and my name? The name Pixel Riffs, as the Nightbot command suggests, comes from pixel as in pixel graphics and riffs as in musical phrases, because I used to do a channel on YouTube where I would take random articles from Wikipedia and write songs about them. It was called Wiki Riffs, and the majority of that channel just no longer exists, so I took it all down. But the riffs part in Pixel Riffs kind of came from that, and I was originally going to start making like chiptune music and using it as background music in my videos, but then as the command says, the gaming took over. I don't think I thanked Ellie Swan. Ellie Swan, thank you for the 7 months of Prime. But yeah, outside of that, the profile picture was drawn for me by ZloyXP, and it's still just one of my favorite little drawings, so I absolutely want to keep that. I think what I might do is actually no, I'm not going to. I was thinking about going to get the last potion of water breathing and doing some cave diving around here, but that would mean adjusting my gamma because it's kind of dark when you go underwater. I was just thinking where coal and stuff will be. Yes, ask Rob in the chat, ASQROB. Welcome in, by the way. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Rob used to, or I mean, still does use, does like film directing stuff. And yeah, when you were doing a couple of short film things, I provided a bit of music for that. Always super fun. Do you think we need more large structures in the game like the Woodland Mansion, maybe one of the old growth tigers? I mean, yes and no. Like, I always like the idea of generated structures in this game, but I feel like so many of them, with very few exceptions, tend to get very samey after a while. And you don't want them to provide the player with too much stuff, because then players are more tempted to not do stuff of their own, I think, sometimes. Difficult to say, really. Now that I have carrots, I can make a night vision potion. Yes, but I kind of want to do that on camera. I mean, I say on camera, you know, on like a regular YouTube video is when I want to go over some of the other potion brewing recipes. Like, I'll do a complete guide to brewing once we have more of the ingredients. But there's some stuff that I just don't feel right doing on stream for the first time, and like brewing new potions and stuff like that is one of them, because otherwise people feel like, you know, all of this stuff is stuff they're missing out on, rather than it just being kind of extra grind work behind the scenes, you know? How do I find carrots? I've set up a zombie spawner farm that's going to be in tomorrow's YouTube video. And yeah, we got a few carrots from that with a looting sword. How do I keep my voice so calm? I'm naturally a very stoic person. I don't tend to get like worked up about very much. In fact, I'm borderline boring. But luckily I play a fun and exciting game, so people seem to like that. Would make some new structures unique, one per world. The problem with that then is, like, for a start, some people want a world where they've got everything. So, like, if it was like the way Pokemon does it, right, with version exclusivity, there's some Pokemon that you can't get in Pokemon Red, and then you have to play Pokemon Blue or have a friend who does, and then that's the only way you get to see those Pokemon. That wouldn't work for Minecraft worlds. Because it's not like Terraria where you bring items over and you kind of copy stuff over, right? Like, it's it's kind of a shame if you don't get to see everything about the game in a single world, especially considering that Minecraft worlds are like pseudo-infinite. They're not really, but like as infinite as it needs to be for a game where you walk up 1 block per block. I think it's like, is it 5 blocks per second or something like that? I forget what the player's average walking speed is. But yeah, there's problems with exclusivity in that respect, and then like there only being one instance of a certain structure per world. The question is where, you know, like does it have the potential to spawn 100,000 blocks out, and how many players are going to see that as a result, you know? Like you've got to consider players who aren't going to have that much of an interest in exploring. There's a lot to think about when it comes to adding anything new to Minecraft. Even though this sword doesn't have favorable enchants for regular combat, I feel like it's probably a good idea to keep using it because it's got looting on it. And using a regular unenchanted sword isn't going to do anything better at this point. It feels weird fighting creepers with a smite sword, but then it's better than just fighting them with an unenchanted sword. After explored, it despawns and goes to another location with new loot. Again, cool idea. How do you stop it overwriting something the player's already built? Like, I'm genuinely not here to just like shut down everyone's ideas. These are all really cool ideas, but I'm just kind of curious about the ideas people have for working around gameplay mechanics like that. It's genuinely just like getting people to think about their ideas more. So please don't think I'm trying to like reject every good idea you guys have. I'm just kind of curious as to what people think about that stuff. I somehow knew that this was going to open out into water. It just seemed like what was going to happen. As soon as I find anything useful, it's like, actually, might want to not dig that up. Typical. Constructive criticism improves the quality of ideas. Yeah, like that's what I want it to be, is constructive criticism. I don't want anyone to think I'm just like here to naysay all of your cool things that you want added to Minecraft. It's also good practice for the discussions we have on the podcast, because a lot of the time on the Spawn Chunks we end up talking about ideas that people have written in with for like listener email, and people have really cool ideas, but we always want to think about them from a more analytical perspective, put it that way. Flying potion may be like the flying effect from shulkers. People have suggested that as far back as levitation's been in the game, and I think Mojang's response to it has usually been this would be too OP to just splash on people during combat, because when you're flying up like that, you are a little bit more helpless than you would be otherwise. And so it might get a little bit too unbalanced for like PvP combat and that kind of thing. I think that's been their response. I may be misremembering. Shopping Sunday it is, yes. Nothing like a good shopping trip around the caves. I feel like we haven't seen enough of this abandoned mineshaft somehow. Like, I've explored a bit of it, but I never found a cave spider spawner in this one. This chest we've seen, I mean, it had a name tag in it, so I should take that. And in some cases, it's just going to get cut off by more cave entrances. Okay, we'll leave that for now. There's one. Oh, with a mineshaft chest right next to it. Why did I leave my Bane of Arthropods sword at home? More coal, more torches, more glowberries, more golden apple. Fair enough. Just going to leave that lit up. Bit of deep slate copper. What's up, Mr. Badge Seth? Happy New Year to you. Hope you had a good one. Just going to go down one side of this, I think. Yet more string. And nothing there. Fair enough. Whenever you're in a mine shaft, you feel obliged to collect the minecart rails. I mean, you can do that. That's definitely going to save you crafting a lot of stuff with iron later. I'm not going to turn up my nose at some free rails. Just right now, I want to keep my inventory clear for other stuff. I think especially the ones that are in the minecart loot chests, like if you've got powered rails and activator rails and stuff in there, you usually only need like one or two of those, except for the powered rails, obviously. But like the more specialized types of minecart rails, you don't need a great deal of unless you're heavily into redstone circuitry. And even then, minecart-based redstone circuitry is a little bit more of a specialist discipline. Alright, so most of that is taken care of. There aren't that many more offshoots, but this is a very fragmented mineshaft from what I can tell. Like, it seems to go off in a few different directions. That's where I fought that Enderman in the episode. It goes off in a few different directions that just dead end. And this area here was all broken up with the lava as well, so there's nothing much around here either. What if this just kind of largely failed to generate much more interesting stuff? Have I ever dug out a mineshaft? I mean, like, excavated all around it to see where it went? I have not. Just too difficult, really. Not difficult as such, but, like, time-consuming and, like, finicky. And I think in this update in particular, you don't need to worry too much about that, because there are some caves that generate with a mineshaft just suspended in the ceiling. So if you want to see how a mineshaft generates without all of the stone around it, you've got a couple of examples of how that works. The Crazy Spacey, thank you so much for that brand new Prime sub to the channel. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge, and welcome to the Pixels. What is the best height to mine for everything before you find a mega cave? Let's see. Coal and iron, you can go into the hills. Like, you find more coal and iron the higher up in mountains you get, so those are usually good if you've got some mountains nearby. Emerald, also only in mountain biomes. Once you get into caves, copper is around Y48. Iron is around Y16. Gold is around Y-16. And redstone and diamonds, basically the lower you get, the better. I think that's how it works. Obviously, with iron and copper, you also have the option of finding a large vein of either, which is copper veins above Y0 and iron veins below Y0. That is it, more or less. Lapis is anywhere 64 and below, with more of it exposed the further down you go. Gold is around Y50 in Badlands if you can find one. Yeah, no, gold in Badlands is an exception, of course, yeah. Let's see. This is not an exposed copper vein, much as it looks like one. There's just a lot of copper in the underground. We didn't go much further down here because I wanted to save some of this for an episode. Yeah. Loving the new mob spawning light rules. This level of lighting in 117 would still result in a horde of mobs. It would. And obviously having twice the depth in the world means that there's more dark spaces for mobs to spawn that aren't here, so they're already going to feel a little bit more spaced out, but only a little bit. Interesting little aquifer. Oh, there's a drowned right there. Yikes. Ugh. Is it worth strip mining for iron at Y16, or is caving better? Honestly, I find so much iron just caving that I don't think I've had to consider strip mining yet, but like, if you have the option, if you have like a bit of time and you don't mind branch mining or strip mining, then you can give that a try if you want to. Strip mine is good when you don't want to deal with mobs. Yeah, that too. That's always a consideration, isn't it? Dark outside. Trying to think where we haven't gone that I also want to go right now. We've got enough coal that we can explore a little further, and I'm just going to throw out the spider eyes because we have enough of those now. Curious if the warden will even have a drop at all. I doubt it, or if it will, it'll be a trophy item, and the thing about the warden is it's not going to be worth fighting it. For a start, you can have more than one warden, I think. Or maybe you can, but maybe they've decided that's not the way they want it to work now, with it like coming out of the ground and everything. But like the original plan was to have wardens be like something that spawned in the deep dark, the way zombies do in caves, you know, like multiple of them shambling around potentially. And so it's going to be difficult to fight one if another one can immediately spawn and attack you. But yeah, it not having drops makes a lot of sense because they don't want to encourage players to fight it. Any plan on using Optifine? Maybe eventually, but I also want to do an episode about any performance mods that I end up adding, because they're useful to people, but it's also worth explaining to people why I'm bothering to use performance mods when performance is pretty much fine for me. Like, I don't tend to have any issues with it. At least with the way I have things set up currently. And once the world gets a little bit more developed, then maybe there'll be good reasons too, but FPS stability is fine for me. As long as I get consistently over 60, then I can record that. I don't need it for performance. I'm not planning on using it for the zoom key now that the spyglass is in the game. Which I get the spyglass has its flaws, but I like the fact that it's a vanilla feature and everyone has access to it, so I find it a little bit more interesting than using Optifine. Nothing in there. I think at some stage I'll need to get some more obsidian so I can craft more ender chests. Then when I just do an obsidian mining stream. Caving is stressful in these big caves. It can get that way. Like I said, I mostly want to make sure that I don't end up going to places that would make more interesting content if I explored them in a YouTube video. I'm fine picking up the occasional resources as I go through here, but the spyglass sound is the best. It does make it very satisfying to use. We've been most of the way through these, I think. And that down there was just a lava pit. Would I prefer if phantoms spawn in the end? No. Because you can't sleep in the end, so there's no way of getting rid of them. And I think there's a fine line between challenging and irritating, which phantoms cross quite quickly for a lot of players, myself included. So I don't really think it's worth introducing them to an environment that's already kind of a pain to explore and potentially very deadly. How common is the new music disc supposed to be? I thought it was pretty rare, but I keep finding it everywhere, dungeons and mineshafts. You shouldn't find it in mineshafts. It's only in dungeons and strongholds, but I think the rarity of it is about the same as it would be to find an enchanted golden apple. So if you're finding it everywhere, then good job. I think phantoms are just annoying to be able to hit, otherwise it's a cool concept. I think the fact that they just keep coming at you is the problem. Like, if you defeated a bunch of phantoms and they were gone for good, and then it just reset your insomnia counter at that point, that'd be a different story. But I think the fact that you just keep getting more and more and more of them is the difficulty. I'm definitely in favor of there being some kind of flying mob in the end. I would just like it to be more neutral like the Endermen are. Oh yeah, that was the gravel I didn't want to disturb. When will I explore ocean monuments? I don't have an idea of where one is yet. And I can just look around an ocean, obviously. But I maybe want to get villagers out of the way first, because then we can talk about the cartographer giving you the Ocean Explorer maps. So if you can't find an ocean monument, that's an option to find one. So I'm thinking maybe after we do Village Week. And then Village Week opens up a whole bunch of possibilities, because from there we can start getting into stuff like iron farms. We can talk more about the renewability of certain resources and what you can get from that kind of stuff. Like, I have a Google Doc now with about 50 episode ideas. And I'm just getting started too. Like, I jotted down a bunch of ideas the other day after taking the poll on Twitter and on YouTube, and was just like, what are the next... Like, let me find this and read it out to you, because these are potentially the next, like, yeah, 24 or more survival guide videos. So it's like Farm Week, so zombie spawner and spider spawner XP and drops, introduction to basic redstone components, basic sugarcane farms, more efficient crop fields using Fortune 3 on crops, that kind of stuff. Automatic pumpkin and melon farm, maybe go for bone meal as well. Cave spider spawners in the abandoned mine shaft. And then Villager Week is how to locate a village and what to do when you find it, the different biomes that you can find things, common professions, loot from various village houses, that kind of thing. Go through all of the villager professions, do villager breeding and housing, key professions for farming emeralds and getting, you know, stuff that's advantageous to the player, and then zombifying and curing villagers and explaining discounts. From there, we get into locating a mountain so that you can get emerald ore and talk about how you get emeralds different ways. Also gives us a chance to talk about ore distribution. Iron farming, comparing an iron farm to a huge iron vein. We haven't even talked about cobblestone and stone generators in the redstone week, so we can do that. Shipwrecks and locating buried treasure, exploring nether biomes so we can finally find a warp forest, getting ancient debris, and then netherite and smithing table usage, which is obviously, again, linked to the villager stuff. Raiding a piglin bastion at some point as another way of getting ancient debris or netherites. Locating a desert and raiding a desert temple, doing the same with a jungle temple. We can start a cactus farm once we found a desert. We can look for our badlands and go into an abandoned mine shaft there. And then automatic furnace smelting, locating the other biome-specific villages, starting a swamp or jungle village by curing villagers and breeding them there, so we can talk about the biomes that don't have villages but do have villagers. Locate a mushroom island, raid an ocean temple, raid a woodland mansion, do a guardian farm, talk about pillager raids, make a raid like this. It just spirals at that point, and I haven't even written down go to the end, kill the ender dragon, end city, shulker boxes, storage systems. Like, there's so much. This is just like the next year of survival guide content basically laid out in front of you. And from there we get into bigger projects, we get into like, you know, farm efficiency, all of that jazz. Yeah, Minecraft is a rabbit hole. And that hasn't even touched on like building. Because I feel like building is one of those things that is circumstantial. It's much more dependent on what the vibe is. It's not the kind of stuff I can really plan ahead for as much unless I have a really specific project idea, which in my case I'm letting the biomes themselves dictate the project ideas. Have I thought of the far, far future like a survival guide season 3, or would I end the series after season 2? I doubt we would just completely stop making tutorial videos after season 2. But I don't know when season 2 would really end, because the only thing that ended season 1 was the promise of an update that was going to completely overhaul terrain generation. And obviously that update ended up getting delayed, but I figured the early game was going to change so much with the addition of new caves that all of my old videos were going to be obsolete. That's the kind of thing that prompts me to reset a series. Either that or, you know, I feel like the series has outlived its usefulness and it deserves a fresh start in a new world just for people who want to be able to follow along from the beginning and not get into a series that's already 300 plus episodes deep. But since there's so much we can talk about in Minecraft, I still want to be able to just do as much as I possibly can, you know? Like, I almost ended up resetting the series for the Nether update because the biomes add so much to the experience of going to the Nether for the first time. The dude 1469, thank you so much for the 100 bits. And Pemley Stalwalk with 100 bits as well, thank you. You're low on iron in your world. It pains you to see me pass all the iron in the cave. I'm sorry. Go caving. I have so much iron right now that I'm not doing anything with. And right now I'm not necessarily gearing up to take on massive projects at the moment. So there's no real need for me to grab all of this iron right now. And I don't want to just deplete all the resources in this area. I want there to be iron when I come caving down here so I can be guaranteed of getting some iron in the future, right? But yeah, Season 2 is going to go for potentially as long as Season 1 did, if not longer, because there's now way more stuff to talk about. By episode, what was it, 25, I want to say, of Season 1, we were gearing up to fight the dragon. I don't even have the dragon on my radar right now. And I think eventually I will, because eventually we'll want to do some stuff with, you know, farm designs and whatnot that will require us to have an easily portable inventory. Something that just a donkey won't really help us with, you know. What's up, Shy? That's awesome news. Maximum 4 months away? That's cool. Best of luck with it. Hope it all goes well. I know you've got a a group of people that you trust at this stage, so it's lovely to hear that's progressing for you. Oh, hello. Once again, there is a bat around here guarding the creeper.
Well,
Literally their only job.
Just prime.
That and adding random directions to armor stands. It's the only thing bats do. BFSB, thank you for the 14 months. YOLO Girl 2050, first time you've been able to catch a stream. Welcome in. This is where we do all the behind-the-scenes work for my survival guide series on YouTube. So you're going to be seeing a lot of caving. We're just kind of exploring the area right now. Looking for other things that I can use for videos. So if we stumble upon another skeleton spawner, for example, that would be really nice, because I haven't found a skeleton spawner yet. We've already decorated the spider spawner and the zombie spawner that will be appearing in tomorrow's episode, although they'll be appearing undecorated in that episode, because I just figured I would touch up a couple of things after I was done with the episode itself. It's all already recorded. How to place torches on the left and right side work in these massive caves. I mostly just track which direction I've been, and the massive caves are, at this point, large enough that you can kind of navigate by landmarks, right? So, like, you know which direction you've been through them. And frankly, putting torches on the left wall, like, in an area like this, it only really gets dark enough for stuff to spawn here. But even then, like, I know that torches attached to blocks like this are the directional ones, and torches on the floor are just there to light up as much area as possible. So there's that option. But most of the time, the area is so big that it's kind of like being in the overworld. I just navigate by landmarks. Big patches of tuff, large open areas, areas where I've clearly mined out the resources. Those are all the indications of, like, I've been here. Hey, we got 4 diamonds out of that one. Very nice. And it looks like that's where we're turning around. Exploring systematically is really the way to do it. Yes, cave marks. It's still technically the land, even if we're underground. But honestly, yeah, having played this game for so long and so repetitively and everything, I seem to have developed a bit of an instinct for navigation in Minecraft. Like, I can usually tell where I've got turned around, unless the landscape is incredibly similar everywhere. Like, if I'm in a cave in pre-1.18 and it's just all stone, sometimes that gets a little bit difficult if I haven't left myself a trail. But honestly, in these deep slate caves, with them being a little bit more winding, a little bit more feature rich, I want to say, like, it tends to be a little easier to navigate. Is there a specific Minecraft update that I would want? I mean, yes, of course, there are lots of Minecraft updates that I want, but I don't know what kind of priority I would give to any of them, you know? I agree enchanting needs an overhaul at some stage. I think at a certain point we reach a critical mass where you'd never quite get the enchantments that you want, because there's just too many of them after a certain stage, and they're very cautious about adding new ones now. But in theory, there is a chopping enchantment that's coming in whatever the unified combat update ends up being, which is going to add that to axes. Yeah, the main thing I think people are looking forward to now is an update to the ends, because the end landscape is kind of uniform right now and could do with some biomes in the same way that the nether could do with biomes. But obviously the end is more of a desolate landscape by design, so there's no reason that can't change, but in future I think it would be a good idea. The end already technically has biomes, but those biomes only really determine where chorus fruit spawns. More exclusive enchantments, endgame gear always looks the same. Yeah, I'd love there to be more cosmetic stuff that just changes a little bit of, like, subtle stuff about the way your tools and armor look. Like, a lot of this stuff is stuff that we've talked about in the past on the Spawn Chunks podcast, so if anyone's interested in hearing those discussions, you can get the podcast at thespawnchunks.com or wherever you download podcasts. And me and Joel often have discussions about, like, future update ideas, whether they are our own or ideas from listeners who've written into the show. No, you don't. Oh boy, there's a geode right here as well. This is definitely geode central, this cave. That's awesome looking. I think we may even have been up to this one before, but just not traveled much further. And I'm not certain if I want to mess with too many of the geodes here, because I've definitely found a couple of them which have which are like completely waterlogged. They're like underwater generated down there, and that's actually a pretty good way of collecting all of the amethyst shards when you mine them up, is you fortune them, let them all float to the surface and just swim around and collect them that way, or even channel them into a water collection system. So we might have the option of converting one of those instead of worrying too much about any of the big ones down here. We're definitely reaching up into the upper layers now. It's always so weird realizing that granite doesn't spawn down here. Love being able to one-shot skeletons. Are we under spawn right now? Like, where even are we? Become One Punch Man. It's specifically for undead mobs, though. Like, it doesn't work for anything else. This crack leads down into the underground. Let's get 2 more stacks of torches. We need so many torches down here. Hi. Kind of blended in with the deep slate over there. How can you one-shot them? I have Smite 4 on this sword. And Smite is better than Sharpness when it comes to dealing with undead mobs. I enchanted a sword with looting, which you'll see in tomorrow's episode, and it gave me Smite 4 as well, so I figured I'd go with it, and it's proven fairly good so far, considering my other sword isn't enchanted with anything, so it's not really worth using something else to fight the creepers. You can also one-shot them with a power 3 bow, because power 3 bows are apparently just OP. Once you pull back a bow all the way, you crit with the bow automatically, so it's usually pretty decent damage. Been having a good run of diamonds down here, actually, just casually caving. Someone was saying an update to brewing. What do you want from an update to brewing? Because I think brewing is one of those systems that works pretty well, but I'm always curious to hear what other people's ideas are for that kind of stuff. Alright, and this is actually leading right down to the zombie spawners, so that's good. I recognize that area. You want the combat update for stackable potions? Stackable fire resistance potions is just going to be the best quality of life change. Especially for netherite mining. Bit more redstone. Cheeky diamond or 2 maybe? Probably not. A way to automate brewing better? I mean, you can automate brewing pretty well right now. Just got to have a large array of hoppers and stuff. Or set up 1 brewing station per potion so the ingredients never have to change. the underside of a geode, which probably isn't the one that we've already found, actually. So yeah, lesson learned. A lot of geodes in this area. Have I ever built a shulker farm? No, because shulkers have only been farmable since 1.7 unless you reset chunks. Or did some sneaky update suppression shenanigans. So, yeah, we didn't get a chance to make one in the Hardcore Survival Guide or on Empires, so I have never made a shulker farm to this point. Wish beacons would get some more effect. Love to see a night vision and slow falling beacon effects. Also, beacon effects working on tamed animals. Yeah, tamed animals would be a good thing. Having, like, your dog or cat be able to have regen or something, I think that'd work. Or resistance, if you're prone to letting creepers into your base to blow up your own pets. Like, it's always pretty unfortunate when that happens. Just gonna go with this. There we go. A parrot with speed, imagine. Swiftness 2 on a parrot. 13. Unlucky for some. Interact more with my pets. The problem with pets is they die too easily if you do anything with them. And I only have the parrots so far. I should go and tame some wolves at some stage. That's something I need to add to my Google Doc. Tame wolves, tame cats. Get the complete catalog. Like, all the advancements as well. Like, there's so much material just here. We haven't even got the end advancements tab yet or anything. A cow with jump boost. I mean, yeah. That's why I think she specified tamed animals. The complete wolfalog. I think dogalog is probably better. I don't know where this has been mentioned, if it has an official source, but I believe I remember somebody telling me recently that Mojang has basically confirmed they're not planning on updating dogs because they're all cat people or something. Which seems like a shame to me, but I can understand the technical issues with trying to make such a diverse range of dogs, because like cats, domestic cats are basically all the same size and shape as far as Minecraft is concerned, right? Like, you don't get people with domestic cats, aside from, like, there's really big breeds of cats, but they're still basically the same shape. And so it's much easier for them to reskin a cat. Like, there is more than one way to skin a cat. Whereas, to accurately represent the different dog breeds, it's much more it's about much more than just, like, what color the texture is and stuff. It's way more about things like size and shape and like the muzzle and everything. Like there's so many different attributes that different dog breeds have. I think it might be quite difficult to represent all of them in Minecraft without introducing a ton more detail into all of the dog models, you know? And there's already, I believe, a bunch of resource packs that allow you to do stuff like that. I love that one torch lights this whole area up for mob spawn proofing. That's the best. It's especially noticeable in round rooms like that. Are you the farmer? I've gone caving by mistake. I'm not going to save the farmer. We're at -8 in the world, and I've not got to the point where I'm ready to cure zombie villagers yet. I have the equipment to do it, it's just not ready for the guide to do it. No point in name tagging villagers. Another zombie villager will spawn in a few nights from now. His profession doesn't matter. I thought I saw some diamonds over here. Was I hallucinating that? Is that my imagination? Was it more glow lichen? I bet it was more glow lichen. I was standing over here. I was looking that way. And I thought I saw some diamonds. I should have used the spyglass to check it out over here. Maybe I saw like a zombie's shirt or something. Or like the edge of one of those blocks over there looked like it was diamondy. It wasn't the glow lichen this time. Minecraft is inhumane. How dare you? Mojang should upgrade the end so you have more stuff to do there. That's what we were talking about earlier. Like ideal Minecraft updates. I think an end update is probably on their radar. But then there are so many other things that they've said we're going to update next in terms of what the community has voted for at previous Minecraft live events, that kind of stuff. If you imagine the wild update starts the ball rolling on that. So they update swamps because we voted for those and they didn't win the vote, but they were like the second most popular option. We have savannas, deserts, and badlands all due for an update after that. And I don't think they're just going to roll all of those into one update. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but excuse me, I do think there's like enough scope for them to string that out across several other updates and end up finding a balance between that and something that ties it in thematically, right? Finally, some more slime. It's been too long. And yeah, so I think there'll be chances for them to roll a Badlands update into a couple of other things. Like, it'd be really funny if the Badlands update ended up with a couple of other features which were both good and ugly, and then they'd be like, the good, the Badlands, and the ugly update. I don't know. They can just do some fun stuff with it thematically that's going to make it more than just like, we update all of the things that you said that you kind of wanted a little bit, but you weren't looking forward to them as much as these other things. I'm thinking in terms of the wild update and how they wanted to introduce this concept of tying together the deep dark stuff with the swamp update and an update to maybe another biome or two, making Minecraft feel a little bit more alive. Just want the frogs, man. Frogs are on the way, Bruno. They're in the bedrock beta already. Have you tried that yet? I suppose if you're on Java a lot more now, you have less of a chance to just kind of hop into bedrock. Although, no pun intended. Although Now you're not on truly bedrock anymore, I guess. Yeah, maybe you have the option to explore that and not just completely ruin your bedrock install with the beta stuff. Which I gather is an issue for a bunch of people who like to play bedrock more regularly, is that, like, they have to completely reinstall Minecraft every time they want to use the beta. Really wondering what they'll do with archaeology? Yeah, that's another thing. I feel like the desert update might be a good place to put archaeology because there's already fossils under deserts and a lot of the kind of pop culture touchstones of archaeology, things like Indiana Jones and whatnot. There's a lot of desert environments in those. You know, there's potential for them to include a whole bunch of different ideas in an update like that, beyond just this archaeology system that they might be working on. Extremely happy that we're getting more scary stuff that isn't in the Nether. Yeah, I think saving all the scary stuff for one dimension is a little one-dimensional. I think it's interesting as well that the Nether is the scary place. I was talking a little bit about this earlier. And thinking, like, there's a bit more of that huge iron vein. The thing with the Nether is it's not actually as hostile as people think it is. I think people think of it as a dangerous place because there are a lot of environmental hazards. And a lot of the more immediately dangerous mobs are there, like ghasts and blazes and so forth, right? But if you wear gold there, the majority of the hostile mobs that just freely spawn in the environment aren't going to really bother you because you don't immediately hit the first zombie pigman that you see, and the regular piglins will ignore you if you're wearing gold. So the Nether is actually a much more passive, or not passive, but at least like neutral dimension than I think it gets credit for a lot of the time. Because yes, there are ghasts that fireball you and explode and things, and there are blazes that fireball you, and wither skeletons are obviously a lot of a, you know, they're dangerous, but I think the thing people forget about the Nether is that it's not, you're not immediately in danger every time you enter the portal. There's a lot of other stuff going on there, and the Nether can actually be a fairly friendly environment once you've gotten to know it a little better and exchanged phone numbers and stuff. Maybe that's just me having been conditioned to it by playing in the Nether for longer periods of time, but it's all about just getting to know the hazards. And like, by the same token, the overworld is pretty hostile because every night stuff comes out and tries to kill you. Like, it's just that it's almost always there in the Nether, and half of it is neutral. The Nether has Striders, which are officially the best mobs, so, I mean, I don't know why I end up liking Striders so much. It's just like my thing now. What's up, Mark Cloud? Welcome in. Are you Mark Loud or you Mark Cloud? Just kind of curious about that one. Hazer, thank you so much for that brand new Prime sub to the channel. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Welcome to the Pixels. I think I'm probably going to head back now. I think we've got a decent amount of stuff here. We'll throw a little bit more in the ender chest before we head out, just in case stuff gets on me for my diamonds.
Well,
yeah,
that's just prime.
Shrink down some of this as well. We have not needed to bring as much back with us this time. Bexy Bermuda gifting a sub. Faint a Beast with a Prime sub as well, and everyone's kicking off the hype train again. You guys. I also missed subs from Oti and Matt, so thank you so much for the resubs. Jeronif with the 3 months as well. Pemley Stalwalk with another 100 bits. The hype train is a-rolling. Yeah, I think we're going to head back to the house. We'll maybe fit in one round of Minecraft Bingo in 1.16.5, and then we will call it a day. I've got an episode to edit, and Thursday's live stream still needs editing together, so... Am I headed off in a completely different direction here? I am. But yeah, I want to get in one round of Bingo because Casto is playing it now, Bruno was playing it the other day. It's kind of fun. We can try and go for a sub-30 run and then just wrap things up there. Bruno's hyped already, I can tell.
Well, that's
oh yeah, this is the... Going to ignore that one. This is the way back from the zombie spawner, yeah? Okay, now I'm slightly turned around. Because this way I think we already explored. Did we? But does this lead back to where I was, or does this lead further around to where I was going? Yeah, okay. We've stopped there. Oh my goodness, it's all kicking off. Give me a second to catch up with the alerts. I need to make sure I can get my way out of this cave. But I appreciate all the support coming in. You guys are the best. So I think I came this way and that. Did I come from here initially? I think I might have done. Ended up caving through here. Caving, caving, caving. I recognize this. Okay, we're good. Now I know where I am. I'm probably going to come around in a circle here, but I know where I am. Okay, the dude 1469, thank you for the 100 bits. Hibiscus Brit with the 2 months. On the diagonal with 400 bits, Crazy Spacey with 100 bits, and Devon with the gifted sub. Thank you all very much. The dude 1469 gifting a sub as well. Thank you. Appreciate all the gift subs. Folks in the chat, if you got gifted a sub by one of these very generous people, make sure you say thank you. And just as I say that, we have a sub coming in from Hell Glassy, gifting a sub as well. And Mystica Rain with the 5 months of Prime. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Axing in with the Hype Train bits. And Snatty with a brand new Tier 1 sub as well. Really appreciate that, thank you. Oh, by the way, folks, for anyone who has been following my ongoing struggles with Lumia, the software that controls the lights in the background, I finally got it to stop disappearing off into the top right-hand corner of my monitor, and I just dragged it down to a different monitor, and it seems to be behaving itself where it is. It'll still completely reposition itself on launch, but it at least gives me the taskbar at the top that I can use to move it. It's been annoying me for a while now. Oh my goodness, some huge support coming in from Tadpole Milk with 1,000 bits. And Pemley Stalwart gifting 5 more subs. Thank you so much. Crazy Spacey also cheered 100 bits before that. Thank you, and thank you. Let's get out of here. Hey, it's still dark, but whatever. Been using Lumia recently. It's decent software. It's the kind of thing that I can imagine other people putting together a simple enough thing of their own if they know how to use the Twitch API and have a little bit of coding knowledge. But for folks like me who are relatively untrained in such things, it's very, very helpful. It has a lot of functionality that I would just not use. Like, I know a lot of people have stuff that changes their likes when people subscribe and there's raids and like alerts can go off like that. But I prefer to just have it be static and gives people something to do with channel points, which I previously hadn't done much with because I didn't want them to disrupt the stream too much, you know? What are my thoughts on Streamlabs? I still use it, but I do need to wean myself off it and start using regular OBS as well. Because, yeah, it seems like they're the kind of people who are fairly unscrupulous when it comes to their business practices, and I like people with scruples. So one of my tasks for the start of the new year here is to start using regular OBS again and start customizing some more stuff from that. Yeah, I've heard Stream Elements are good for the alert side of things, so I'm going to be figuring that stuff out in the next few weeks, probably. Alright, we got some more name tags there, we got some more bones and bits and pieces. But yeah, I think this is probably where we'll wrap up from the survival guide. Again, I still don't want to make too much progress on these streams, which is why a lot of them are fairly, like, unfocused right now, but for the most part we'll be doing behind-the-scenes work on some projects, little bits of building here and there, tidying up some stuff and making it look presentable, at least. We can throw some of this in here. And put the glowberries in here. Get out of here, you. And that's going to be it, I think. Put the golden apples in here with the gold. Right, I'm going to log out from my basement, and we're going to switch over to Minecraft 1.16 for a bit of bingo. Minecraft Bingo has to be played in 1.16.5 because that's where the data pack is. And I don't believe it's been updated since. Just going to quickly change my stream title. I forget what my PB was last time. Is it like 29.45 or something like that? I don't think it got as low as 30. See you later, Rob. Have a good one. We'll just say going for sub 30. Dragon Manatee, thank you for gifting a sub. Joranif with 100 bits. Milk Dove Bouquet with the 500 bits. Snatty gifting a sub. Cherry Peel with the 4 months. Hopeless Dove gifting a sub earlier as well. Thank you all very much. Alright, let's open the bingo instance and let's get to it. Close my Google Docs as well. How many Iron Golems can kill a Warden? Well, the Warden doesn't exist yet, so let me know when you have the answer to that one. Queen Bee, thank you so much for the 250 bits. Thanks for all you do. You've become one of my comfort streamers. I love the chill environment for my mornings. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Here we are in bingo. U of M says 10. Let's do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not looking too bad. We've got a pumpkin pie on there. Could be a little difficult. We got the slime ball, so we need a first night swamp. Rabbit hide's usually a problem. Name tags need a dungeon. Or fishing, but who fishes in this game? Who's got the time? So we need powered rail. We don't need much in the way of, like, iron and stuff. We'll need enough iron for a hop, a minecart, the piston, the compass. A few bits and pieces. If we get a shipwreck start, that could be quite promising. For the powered rail, TNT from buried treasure, maybe, or a desert temple, alternatively. Desert temple would be OP, you're right. Because we'd get stuff like, you know, the bones and things from that too. Interesting. Depends on the spawn, of course. Do I have any diamonds on me? I don't. My last bingo run apparently ended with not much. Oh, we have a desert start, but doesn't look like we've got a temple nearby. I can't see... There's obviously a tropical ocean there, which is dead easy for sea pickles, and the squid down there as well for the ink. Roofed forest here with both the mushrooms. So we'll start over here. We'll get the mushrooms. Sheep over there for the painting. Let's go with the dark oak wood for the moment. A bit more wood out of these. No swamp visible. We'll find one. Almost made some wood, so we're off to a great start. How did that turn into grass? Incredible. Imagine having that kind of tick speed. Alright, here we go with the stone pickaxe. Brutus Pug, thanks so much for the 100 bits. Imagine having tick speed of that caliber. Alright, let's have a couple more sticks. Let's make an axe. Let's make a furnace. Let's get a shovel. I think we'll probably leave the hoe for the moment. I don't need to worry too much about the coal. Let's get a bit more wood. We'll get a cactus from the desert nearby on our way back. But I think we'll start over this way with the spruce and getting these 2 mushrooms. Okay, we've got all we need there. This is a swamp right here, but it's landlocked, so that's not ideal. Let's take one of these down. Just for some extra woods. We need utility wood for sticks and so forth. Still no saplings. There we go. We're on the board. Any iron in the immediate vicinity? We'll dig up some clay from the swamp for the brick. Alright. Yeah, there are ferns there, but I don't have shears yet, so can't really get them until I have shears. Still, back over this way. Quick look for iron down here. There's creepers there, never mind. Circle back over here for the sheep. Why do all of the potentially iron-rich caves have creepers in? I guess we could kill creepers for gunpowder, but... Nah. Not going to be happening. Get a bit more cobblestone, though.
Well, that's just prime. Sure
is. I see some cobblestone in this hillside over here, so that's an easy spawner. Synesthetic, thanks so much for the Prime sub. Brand new Prime sub to the channel. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Welcome to the Pixels. Skeleton spawner. Daylight should actually stop this from spawning, but... See if we get a name tag. Bit of iron. Lots of good stuff in here, actually. Wow. Didn't get a name tag. We got a golden apple. That's quite nice. Bit more wheat. Okay, okay. Liking it. I'll take the bones. Is there anything else in here? Not really. Okay, we'll kill a squid in here if they're still around. Which, of course, they're not. Oh, wait, no, there's one here. Thankfully, not too much room for them to swim away. We've got the cacti, so let's smelt that now. So we got that. We can throw the sea pickle. We'll smelt a brick because we just need one. We've got enough iron that we can craft some shears, but yeah, I think a pickaxe is going to be better at this point. We can make all of this into wood so I can get the mushroom stew. Okay, we're doing quite well. Yeah. An iron pickaxe. This is shipwreck on land. Incredible. Although not incredible if it's full of sand. I hate the ones that are full of sand. Hey, this is almost the best case scenario, actually. Nice. Very nice. We got bamboo as well. Enough paper, bit of gunpowder. Plenty of wheat. We don't need the stew. The TNT was great. Buried treasure map. Bit more paper if we need it. Which I don't know if we do. Ah, why am I so stuck? Oh gosh, the flowing water is actually pretty OP. And then back here, we might have chest number 3. Don't think we have chest number 3. No, it looks like it got taken over by Natural World Gen. Never mind. Okay, so where are we going now? What are we doing? We don't need snow of any kind. Let's see. Buried treasure map. Pretty close by. It's actually right next to the... It's here. It's basically here. So 9 and 9 right here. Tons of iron. Incredible. Okay. We don't need much else from that.
That's just
Although I'll take this. We'll chuck the poisonous potatoes out. We'll grab some food. So food is pretty much sorted. We've got enough iron potentially to make the hopper. The hopper mine carts. We can make the furnace minecart now. We need some shears. Okay, cool. This is going pretty well. Still need a name tag from somewhere. That's going to be the rough one, I think. We're getting close to sunset, so I'm wondering if we head back towards that swamp and we see if we get lucky with a swamp spawn. And that way we can get ferns while we're there. Because there'll be ferns around here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So we can kill cows. Yep, got some cows right here. Cows don't kill themselves first. Okay, we got leather. So that's the item frame done. Let's craft a shield just in case, because night is falling and I don't really feel that comfortable otherwise. We'll need to look for rabbits in the desert, so let's grab a dandelion if we can. Flower forest right here, but I don't see any dandelions, so let's keep moving. Got a couple of swamp areas right close to each other. I know I can craft the painting. There's a couple of things that I don't need to craft immediately, so I'm not worried about it. It's actually going to save me time if I do a bunch of crafting all in one go. There's some dandelions. Yeah, if I do the crafting all in one go, then it saves the time I spend, like, breaking down the crafting table and picking it back up again and stuff. Which I do a bit too much of in the early game anyway. Let's see. Not really getting any rabbits around here, unfortunately. Too many other biomes nearby. That's the problem. This is probably a beach. Alright, let's double back around, try and get the swamp. In the meantime, we'll grow some bamboo for scaffolding. The thing about the swamp is we don't want to be too close. So let's get the scaffolding. Easily done. Probably don't need any more of that. We don't need the gunpowder even for the TNT now. I haven't seen any cornflowers or any lapis or anything. Okay, stuff is spawning. Chances of a slime. Probably not all that great. Considering there's so much other spawning space around here, it might have been a better idea to go to the ocean. This swamp isn't very big. Not the biggest fan of skeletons either. Yeah, alright. I'm going to double back. If I don't find any slime at that other swamp now, I'm probably just going to go to the ocean and just hope that there's another swamp further out that's closer to ocean territory. This swamp over here has a pretty decent amount of landmass, but unfortunately it's just locked in here with all these other biomes. So we're not getting it. No worries. So we have enough redstone for the compass and the piston, but not the activator, or the powered rail, rather. We don't really need to go diving for anything. We need pumpkins and a bit more iron and one more redstone maybe, and that's about it. So we're doing okay. We do need iron for the crossbow, of course. But let's start by crafting a boat. If I can kill a spider for the spider eye as well, that'd be ideal. Of course, there's like one swamp tree here and no landmass. What do you reckon we could try spawning stuff just there? No, probably not. See if we end up going somewhere else. There might be a bigger swamp closer to. It's another shipwreck over there, which might have some iron or redstone we can raid. Of course, there's an ocean monument there too. Okay, where do we get name tags from, chat? Is the spawn chunks on tomorrow? Yes, it should be. I haven't talked to Joel about it, but I presume it's all going ahead as planned. We only pre-recorded 2 episodes, or, well, we recorded 1 episode day of and pre-recorded 1 for the next week, so we should be back to normal as of tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not sure where's the best way to go now. As long as we steer clear of that monument, pretty much anywhere but the monument. It was always going to be luck of the draw whether we'd find a swamp nice and early. And see, this is a swamp here. Do we have any slime spawns? Didn't think so. Fishing should be the best option for now. It's not going to get us any name tags, not in such a short amount of time. I don't think we need anything from here aside from the gold, but I'll take the gold for the powered rail. I guess the gold carrots, a bit more iron actually, wouldn't be too bad. I don't want to put that in there because I haven't crafted the painting yet. Let's move on. Sailing around like this is going to be good for regenerating a bit of health. Oh man, there's no swamps. There's no swamps anywhere. How much time do I have? We still got half the night. We can do basically everything else as long as we get one slime to spawn. We can do everything during the day. Where's that dandelion? Here's some good rabbits. Rabbit hide, please. Nailed it. Thank you very much. Swamp over there. Did pick up the boat, so that's good. There's a spider over there as well that could give us an eye. No slimes, though. There's a shipwreck right down there for maybe some more iron. This could be a very good run if we can get a slime in this swamp. Spider eye. See a chest, like, literally right here. And just paper, okay. We can leave that because we don't need it for anything. This is going to be one of those runs that just all depends on the name tag, and I'm not going to find the name tag. We got some lapis for the blue dye, excellent. Alright, time to try and recycle the spawns at this swamp, but man, that's not going to work well. There's no landmass. And not much spawning space with the trees here, so let's try and maybe take down the trees. The creeper can help us with that, actually. Thanks, bud. Oh, look, an apple. If only I needed one. Okay. Probably the best we can do. Now let's try and get away. Let's see if there's any more swamps nearby in the meantime, but I doubt it. Sun's going down. I mean, sun's coming up. Moon's going down. This isn't going to get us a slime, is it? I don't think hostiles are going to spawn at this point. I think it's too light for new spawns. Man. This is going very well, but yeah, the slime spawn is really tricky to get if you can't find a favorable swamp. Alright, let's get the rest of the stuff done that we can, at least. So that then we're just cruising for the name tag today. We've got that. We've got the painting to do. We can do the powered rail. The piston. Painting. We've got enough iron that we can do a bucket for the cod. We need to get a compass. don't need that. Oh, we can make a crossbow as well. Been able to make that for a little while. We just need a tripwire hook. And there's the crossbow. We need a bit of gravel for a flint and steel. We can make a couple more iron ingots. And just chuck the nuggets out. We could get lucky and find a slime in a cave, but gosh, it's difficult to do that. Let's quickly do some door diving for redstone. Maybe down here. I don't think we need any more iron at this point, do we? I've not needed to smelt any iron this whole run, and for that I'm eternally grateful. Bit more gold, we don't need it now. Problem is, all of the zombies in this cave were clearly out in the open, so if I dig towards mob noises, it's probably just going to put me in a cave with a zombie rather than a dungeon. What's generally the hardest item to get? Basically anything that involves getting it from a random chance of it being in a loot table in a chest somewhere. So, beetroot soup is probably the worst one, because you also have to find a village that grows beetroot or something like that. We're not far down enough to have redstone. Oh, wait a second, wait a second. I said there wasn't going to be a dungeon down here. No name tag, dang it. They're all just fighting each other, it's fine. We'll go this way. We need to be at 16 and below to find redstone. This doesn't go far enough down. Wasting our time. Okay, let's get out to sea, find a deeper ravine. Of course, we don't have a pumpkin yet either, and we need to find an egg from a chicken, so that's probably sunk us as well. Just kidding. Oh wait, no, is that terracotta? I think that's terracotta. Yeah, it is. It's red sand and terracotta. Never mind. Yeah, beetroot soup is probably the most difficult thing to get in bingo. Although you can find beetroot seeds in chests and then grow them. So sometimes it can be a little easier, but... There's our redstone. We just need one of the compass. That's that done. Now we've got a bucket of water for the cod, which we should be able to get on our way out of here. And I don't think the shipwreck is going to give us anything at this point unless it had flint in it, but again, the flint is not going to be a concern as we can get it from gravel basically anywhere. So I think at this point, we're basically stuffed unless I can get a slime from a cave. Which relies on there being a cave entrance around here. And there not being a drowned with a trident nearby. And me having food. So I'm dead as soon as I walk out of this cave, basically. Yep. Been nice knowing you, chat. If we can find a dungeon somewhere around here, then so much the better. Alright, there's our flint, if we can pick it up. One less thing to worry about. Dungeon for the name tag. Might even have pumpkin seeds, but then we'd have to grow one and we still don't have an egg. Ooh, nice watercolor. Very tropical. Man, if only we needed an ender pearl. I mean, the enderman just stepped in water and teleported, so it wouldn't have been much help, but it would have been something. Gonna peel her up into this dungeon. Good. Dang it, has an enchanted book. There's our name tag. And now we're gonna die. Okay, cool. We're on half a heart, we're in the middle of the dungeon. We don't have a great deal else we can do with most of this. There are pumpkin seeds in the chest, though. So we can make a little farm. Okay, we need it there. Okay, how do we make a hoe? Alright, just gotta wait for a pumpkin to grow. Let's grab this. We want Frostwalker 2 on our boots, because we can't get it. Oh, we need a torch in here somewhere, don't we? That's probably a good idea to make sure crops grow. Usually need light. Horticulture 101. Yeah, if we find an egg, we need some sugarcane for the sugar. But once we have a pumpkin, we can basically just go looking for slime. We won't get sub 30, but we'll at least be able to finish out the bingo card for the end of the stream. We could plant multiple seeds. I need more dirt. I don't have any more dirt. Could try and make coarse dirt with some gravel or something, or find dirt here in the cave. Ow. Yeah, we got 10 levels. Let's enchant something. Don't have any blocks though. Welcome to my pumpkin farm, chat. They're all organically grown. Nothing artificial about any of this. Haven't set this up the best way because ideally they want dirt on all 4 sides. There we go. World's best pumpkin farm. I know. For a slightly better pumpkin farm, check out this week's episodes of the Survival Guide. There we go. That's as good as we're going to get. Probably going to be faster going back to the surface and looking for them, isn't it? There's some set of accomplishments to fulfill. You see the bingo card on the bottom left-hand corner? Basically, you just get all of the items on that. We have all but 2, the slime ball and the pumpkin pie. And the timer on the left-hand side next to the clock icon is how long we've been doing this for. My goal is usually to get an under 30-minute time because I've just managed to whittle it down so that my record is like 29 minutes and 40-something seconds. But having to wait for pumpkins to grow does not help matters. If only there was a slime chunk somewhere in this cave that was actually spawning stuff right now. We are playing this on easy difficulty in case that wasn't clear, so ooh, yikes. That's a cave. That's most definitely a cave.
Well, that's just prime.
Water for the pumpkins. I don't think hydration matters when it comes to growing melons and pumpkins. I mean, it might just like a tiny amount, but it's not going to be all that worth it. Especially considering they've now had a little while to grow. But hydration only matters when the stalk itself is growing, I think. I could be wrong about that. We'll try it anyway. I mean, it's definitely going to grow now, but it was definitely going to grow before as well. Alright, they're just going to fight each other. Did I do that? Oh, that was probably the water that was coming down from here, the water source, right? Zombie villager. Or if anyone's ever cured a zombie villager during a bingo run. For any reason. Bit more redstone, we don't need any more. Likewise the lapis. It is genuinely going to be faster going to the surface and getting a pumpkin that way. Curious zombie villager maxed it out as librarian, get the name tag. Can you imagine? I did have some paper, but I don't think it was enough paper. Would looking for a swamp be faster than finding a slime chunk? At this point, yes. Almost certainly. I mean, we found a swamp nearby anyway. It just... A slime chunk is something I can look for while I'm still in this cave waiting for my pumpkins to grow. Which they're never going to, so it's fine. Basically, the game wants me to keep playing for as long as possible. And honestly, if we'd had a better chance at a slime spawn in those swamps, if we'd gotten lucky and it had spawned a slime, then if we'd just been left looking for the name tag in the pumpkin pie, this could have been a good card. I think I'm probably going to forsake my pumpkin farm and go looking around because it's more fun. I have no idea how I came in here, of course, because I haven't been marking my way. I know I swam down into this area, but I have no idea from where. So worst case scenario, we just dig our way upwards. It's a promising amount of zombie noises, isn't it? Am I in a jungle? Oh, good. You have the original Lion King playing on public TV at the moment, to whoever remembers that. I mean, who doesn't remember the original Lion King? It's a good film. No, I didn't get the pumpkin already. I've abandoned my pumpkin farm. It's more fun just finding them on the surface, and we're already past our time, so... chances are we were not going to get one. The swamp up here has also betrayed me. So let's go for a mad dash across land for a sec. All we need is a swamp of reasonable size that feels content to spawn some slimes. And a pumpkin, a chicken that has laid an egg. These are the things I ask. In fact, it's probably better going back towards spawn, because the chickens around there might at least have stayed loaded. But we are once again getting towards the end of the night. And there's less chance of a slime spawning tonight because it's not a full moon. So, looks like we're probably going to call this run, I think. Oh, come on. A swamp right over here just as the moon is setting. And I think it now gets too light for anything to spawn. And to be fair, this isn't the greatest looking swamp anyway. There's a creeper in it, to add insult to injury. But no, that ain't looking slimy enough. Boy, do I wish there was a better way of getting slime. Like, even in a loot chest somewhere, I would take it at this point. Oh, and the trident guy's back. What about the sugar? We can find sugarcane basically anywhere. Sugarcane is one of those things that you just have to look around and you'll get it. The other ingredients are a lot more specific. If we head back this way, we'll at least aim for our spawn point. Trying to find a sneezing panda? Yeah, that's even less likely than a slime. Two for the price of one. Yeah, the Wandering Trader can offer some slime balls. I've never seen a Wandering Trader spawn during this run. Never, never. Hey, look, a swamp. That's what I mean about the sugarcane. You find it everywhere. You just walk through a patch randomly and you just punch it and keep running. It's pretty straightforward to get sugarcane. And there's our pumpkins too. See, all of this was relatively close to spawn. You just got to look in the right directions and it's a gamble whichever way you go. But yeah, there's no way I'm that interested in waiting around another 10 minutes for a slime to spawn. Let's at least get the pumpkin pie and we'll call it from there. And of course, Pretzel is playing the sad music. Where do we need to go to get back to spawn? This way? Is roughly in this direction. This music is perfect. Alright, chickens! Here, chickens! Basically got to run around until we hear the chicken noises. That is not the chicken noises. We were around here for maybe like 3 or 4 minutes, and then we left. So I'm expecting that during that time, any chickens in the area have laid eggs. The eggs haven't quite had long enough to despawn. And then we left the chunks so they unloaded. And hopefully when we came back there'd be eggs nearby. Tends to be the way I play these now. There's another swamp right here, of course. Another landlocked swamp. See? Bunch of chickens, one literally standing by an egg. It's actually fairly easy to get an egg during these bingo runs. You've just got to kind of have a vague idea of how long you've been playing. But man, it's frustration when it happens. Alright folks, that looks like it's it. Because we're not going to get a slime during the day, obviously. The chickens despawn? No, the eggs do. Right. Let's go back to the lobby. And I think that's where we're going to wrap up for today. Gone a little bit over time. I don't really feel like squeezing in another bingo run right now. So let's see who's streaming. Oh my goodness. Mr. Casto shaved his beard. Oh, cool. Let's go from bingo to another fast-paced thing. Tanisha is attempting her first ever speedrun. Minecraft speedrun. Presumably 116.1. So let's go raid Tanisha. Tactical Satsuma, thank you so much for the 18 months. And Seesaw for it with the tier 1 sub earlier as well. Thank you very much. Folks, thank you so much for being here. I've had a blast. Hope you have as well. Let's reconvene on Tuesday for another stream. Probably another Chopping Tuesday in the Survival Guide world once we've actually spent some of our resources on a couple of interesting farms. I'm going to go and edit my video for tomorrow and the live stream for Thursday, I guess. So those are going to be up on YouTube relatively soon. Keep an eye out for them. Until then, give my love to Tanisha. Don't forget to use your Pixel Hype emotes and the hashtag PixelRaid. Let her know I sent you. And hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy New Year once again to everyone who is stepping into the new year with new resolutions. Hope it all goes well for you. I'll see you folks soon. Take care. Bye for now.
Gonna be very satisfied. Oh my god, Pixel! This is like the worst possible like time ever because I'm doing my first ever speedrun and I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed.